begins tonight. One side Navi, the other side 100 Thieves. Let's meet these teams. First up, welcome 100 Thieves. We got the Crocs. I need you to sign these, ladies. Go ahead and give me a word that you want to give to the team of Navi as you're about to match up.
I mean, we're all friends here at the end of the day. Let's have a good match.
Wow, you even surprised me. I love that one. Hey, listen, what's it going to take for this team to get the job done?
Just play how we always do. Yeah, we're slowly getting there, and this match is going to be like online qualifiers.
I love it. Well, hey, good luck, guys. Give it all you got. Yo, with 100 Thieves, they've been climbing through the fires of Ignite, stealing maps, the spotlight, and momentum. Lock your doors, hide your hopes. It's 100 Thieves. From mid-season dominance to where they find themselves now, breaking through the gauntlet and Cinderella stories, my friends. Please welcome to the stage, Navi. We're back out there. You have some words to 100 Thieves?
I think it's not only 100 Thieves. Every team is working hard behind the scenes. No one sees the effort. Even Chopper Mag, right? Every team good. 100 Thieves, a lot of respect.
Listen, that's what you want to see here on the biggest stage of Rivals, my friends. Well, good luck out there in this epic matchup. That was Trust Me, this is Navi. Also, got to come over here and give a nice fist bump to Sky. The amazing coach for this team deserves all the love as well. Give it up, Atlanta, for Navi. They're once the hunted, now they are the hunters once again on the biggest stage we built up to this moment. This is the end of day 2 and the end of the road for one of these two teams. America versus EMEA. We've got a matchup best of 5 coming live right now. And with that, let's take it to the casters to break it down.
Welcome back, everyone. 100 Thieves versus Navi. The loser is going home after this best of 5. How are you feeling, buddy?
Feeling great. I mean, that was a fun series. Now we're on to yet another one, right? Most importantly, it's going to be Navi versus 100 Thieves. And as Cozy's headed up, America versus EMEA. And this is going to be an incredible one, man, because Navi looks good. And that was a heck of a warm-up against Chopper Mag against 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and they just looked so dominant. I mean, again, now we're going to see who can hold on. The back line here on the side of Navi has been lights out. They just do not get KO'd, and we got to see if they can get taken down by 100 Thieves to slow up that momentum.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure things out, and 100 Thieves, right? Same thing with their warm-up earlier, sort of it worked against or in their favor because it was a long one, right? But you sort of have that leeway between, you know, that matchup earlier where they had to wait and see what happened between Chopper Mag on the opposite side with Navi, because that can kind of mess with you, right? Having downtime, it's not just about like the energy levels expended, right? It's more about downtime, and I think Tetra had talked to us about the behind the scenes, talking about how, you know, casting is great, but a lot of times you can, you know, go up and down level-wise. It's like that as a player, right? If you have a great match and you have a fun one, right, like Navi did, at least it just happened, so they can ride that high. For 100 Thieves, opposite side, right? They've been sitting for a little bit. They could be cooling down.
Yeah, we're going to be heading into Burnin' T'Challa for our first matchup here. Both of these teams known for being incredibly clutch in these moments. But now we find out who is maybe just a little bit more clutch.
Yeah, right now 100 Thieves pretty much are the only team in the entire tournament that has that experience and also that sort of fortitude that we've seen, right? They always kind of come back. They look better when people sort of underestimate them. They're that sort of team that can really surprise people, right? For Navi, we know what's expected of them, so we can kind of also see that sort of same trajectory. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I think earlier we've had Unstoppable Force versus Immovable Object. Right now, this feels like 2 immovable objects. This is going to be tough.
And we're diving into the draft right now, a team that develops the meta and a team that adapts to it.
Yeah, Na'Vi right now, we'll see what they do in the draft phase, right? Taking a look at behind each of these players, you can see our draft phase for you. It's obviously, it's an asymmetrical system where we have, you know, heroes banned at the same time at the very beginning, but it gets changed up later on. And you know, at the moment, we see it's targeted bans, right? You can specifically target specific hero pools, and as this tournament gets along, or gets further along, Shib, these teams are figuring out the specific target bans too.
We're going to give it a second here before we dive into Burn T'Challa, and I'm just, you know, throwing you a question, buddy. What do you think we need to see from the bans?
I mean, we've seen how strong Mantis could be. We see how strong Jeff could be, right? And when we see those two heroes, you also have to sort of not focus on them necessarily. You just have to focus on what's strong. Because at the moment, I don't know about you, Shiv, I'll get your thoughts on it too, because I'm really curious. Like, at the current moment, it does feel like you can't just ban on a roll. We just saw that when we saw Chopper Mag. It was a close match for sure. The ban phase isn't everything, though. It's about how you play, too.
Yeah, I think banning on a roll right now has been not working for teams that are trying to go that route. I think you can definitely target ban a little bit, especially if you know that the hero pool is a little bit more, you know, reduced on a specific target that you're going for. But we've been seeing them develop. All these teams are going back to the drawing board and finding new comps in case all these various ban solutions come into play.
And we're taking a look at our players now. You can see with the, you know, overall setups, everybody except TTK has a mouse pad and a keyboard, by the way. So, you know, I'm sure the keyboard brands, mouse brands, and the mouse pad brands are happy. For TTK, his controller's under the table. So, you know, maybe he's got to put a little bit more out there. Maybe if you're a controller brand, you want to put that on a 100 Thieves jersey, maybe sponsor him, you know, look at future.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not trying to say I'm a 100 Thieves fan, but also for Na'Vi, too. Like, they also, you know, straight up are an incredible team, right? In EMEA, they have been one of the teams to beat. Same thing with VP, taking back a look at the bracket stage. I mean, Jerky, he had a harder matchup versus Sparker, but really anybody's going to be. Jerky in the last match looks like as the highest level, right? Just same level as Sparker.
Yeah, we're going to have that Jerky v Terra matchup. TTK going to be up against Trust Me, both very strong. And, you know, just shout out quickly to Na'Vi. We were lucky enough to sit in on some of their scrims, and they are so fun to watch.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And so will the draft phase, Shib. Starting off, you know, we'll let these teams sort of warm it up, and you already know, like you mentioned earlier, Trust Me does a lot of that captaining, a lot of that work behind the scenes, and you know, I said Sky earlier on the stage with Cozy, 100 Thieves. They can maybe do something here. Remix has been a mainstay in this roster. The coach behind it, right, has done a lot of that stuff. It's awesome to have this sort of head-to-head between the two of them. Mantis banned first, Jeff on the other side. Shib, what's your thoughts on that?
That has been a mainstay of this tournament. Do you want Mantis or do you want Jeff? But leaving Mantis through, yes, is going to enable an insta-lock. And when you give that damage boost to a duelist like Terra, he will farm ultimates and turn it right around back at you. Na'Vi gonna get rid of that Warlock. That's maybe targeted towards Delena, who's had some huge ults over this tournament.
Yeah, it's been a constant strategy to try to ban out Delena's hero pool, and you know, it didn't really work for the last series, right? When we saw 100 Thieves versus Citadel. We'll see what happens in that one. They protect the Psylocke to keep at least something in there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, giving Jerky a Psylocke, we've seen how much success Jerky's had on Psylocke. Again, I think in a very good place in the meta. You and I have mentioned maybe losing a little bit of that neutral battle, but the goal now with Psylocke is farm that front line, press Q on the back line, and watch them just get deleted.
The biggest surprise, I think, of 100 Thieves is they go for that Venom ban, and now we here have that same ban at the same time for both of these squads. And the thing for 100 Thieves that's interesting is they get that Mantis. Now, I think that they are a solid Mantis team. They're very good at it. That's probably why Na'Vi on the other side are fine with getting rid of it. They want to get rid of the Jeff. They know that was a problem that we saw in Citadel's matchup. Millennia was popping off on the Jeff. Maybe give them the Mantis this time around and see how they do with it, because you need to learn that sort of thing. I think, for example, a team out of the tournament in Envy didn't really play the Mantis comps that well, so that's maybe why you can concede that. Maybe Na'Vi reads that on 100 Thieves side too.
Yeah, Mantis is so strong at this level of play with team coordination, because when you have that damage boost, again, like I was mentioning, you get ults quicker, but it also enables one-shot compositions. And although Mantis may struggle a little bit in terms of burst healing, that's not needed at this level. Teams are not looking to just stand there and farm the front lines. Instead, they're coordinated jumping in, especially in these dive comps where they'll call 3, 2, 1 and commit on a single target. And when you do it quick enough, you're not going to be taking the sustained long-term damage, so you don't need that level of healing.
You know what? This is a very interesting comp out of 100 Thieves too.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they just let the Jeff get protected in the second protect is insane. Like, they go for the Venom ban, they go for the Cat ban, that makes sense, but maybe this early is crazy, right? Maybe they're responding to how Na'Vi goes in the protect phase, understanding that, well, Emma Frost is still getting through. They're fine with that team up alongside Jerky. That might throw Na'Vi through a loop, but man, we know Fate is really good at Jeff. You could have taken that ban out earlier. Instead, they prioritized the Vanguards.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for some answers here, including using that Kraken impact, likely from Bucky, to try to shut down Jeff in some of those moments, and maybe we'll see what else they want to run. And not sure if they're going to run something like Ultron they have in the past, but that is definitely on the table. Na'Vi likely having Trust Me there with those bans back on Angela. We'll see shortly.
And I like this too, because it also makes, you know, Na'Vi think, right? Both teams sort of utilizing the maximum potential of their coaches' brains and their captain's brains with Terra and Trust Me on the opposite side. We're heading into first map, like you mentioned, Jim, Burn of the Chala. This is going to be a banger if you are walking around in Atlanta this late at night. Thank you for coming by our booth. If you're watching online, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to get your friends, because it's America versus EMEA.
The losers semifinal, best of 5. Loser goes home. Everything on the line here as we start up in our first fight. You can see the team comps on the top. Trust Me is going to be on that Angela. Naga, very strong Star-Lord, does get through here. We'll see how that looks as we start up our first fight with Trust Me. Owning that height, waiting for an angle towards the backline. Bang, in a dangerous spot. Great jump there by Harvey to escape.
Yeah, smart move to get back to the team. They're going to kind of go under the ground where this health pack is. Also, they're pressuring out the Vanguards. Vinny forced away using cooldowns early. Also, you have the Emma Frost and Jarl pushing in. Jerky already finds one. Traded out.
Terra finds Naga, and that is an even trade as you just discussed. Elena getting deleted there by Jerky, as we just saw. TTK owning the space there on that Emma. In the conversation for the best Emma on the game, and is playing on the sticks. Rojaro finds Terra now, and up a number. Na'Vi likely taking pressure on point. Jerky just farming that front line and getting that ultimate, as we discussed.
Yeah, I'm going to need to see a little bit more out of 100 of these Vanguards right now. I mean, they're playing the Mantis comp. They want to go aggressive with a damage boost, but TTK gets caught out. Invisible Boundary doesn't save him. Jerky gets the elimination.
Yeah, no, they're still just dominating this. The point's still not giving up at the moment, though. Team going to try to elect to hold on, but out goes that dance of the Cutterfly as Harvey falls. Millennia as well from Naga, and make it 2 as Vinny goes down as well. 2% and counting here for Na'Vi.
Yeah, we'll see how this continues, but right now the draft phase is looking really smart by Na'Vi in hindsight, right? Right now they put Vinny onto the Venom, they give him that character, he's really strong, and you give him the Mantis too, you get that really powerful kind of combination with damage boosting. Now he's going over to Cap, now Terra's going over to the Bucky, they're swapping off of some heroes. We'll see if it pans out right now. They're going to hard try to play around Terra with this Mantis damage boost. On the opposite side, Na'Vi have a lot of ults to work with.
Yeah, they're going to use that Freedom Charge as another solution to some of these ultimates with that reduction in healing across the board. No real mainline power burst healing on their composition, but there's a lot of sustained slow heals. Millennia is going to keep damage boosting to Lena in the sky. Out goes that Psionic on Terra, who's at 11 HP and still holds on somehow. Down goes the Itch Jeff. Does this find value from Fate, who is absolutely disgusting on this hero? Finds a 2-piece off of the Angela, and that Naga's going to find Millennia. Jerky onto Delena, and Fate likely going to get one. Does not with a double dash on, but they're going to reset with the team.
Yeah, they have to jump off the map now. Vinny needs to run away, and this is so smart from Na'Vi. I mean, 100 Thieves, they're really good at front-to-back style compositions, and when Na'Vi don't give him those E-limbs like other teams will do, they run in and just go down for no reason. Na'Vi played it perfectly. Nobody falling, Jerky not feeding. That's why Jerky is so good. He's not going in and going down early. 100 Thieves, backs against the wall. Wait, and they find a pick on a Fate.
Next fight begins as Taro. Yeah, as you said, early pick there, putting him up a number, but 73% already on the point. It's a dangerous spot. Taro with a nice pick on a Jerky. Harvey onto Trust Me, and they're walking forward now. It's Elena going to keep the pressure. Switch up in composition. Now it's Elena is going to be on that Mantis. Terra on a Rojaro. Full comp switch. Likely what they needed, but 84% here for Na'Vi is exactly what they're looking for.
And that's the worry right now. You don't want to get picked off. Delena on the Mantis, Terra on the Bucky. Vinny's going to be constantly pressuring you. If you get shoved into an angle where Terra can see you, you're going to be a little bit terrified, right? Na'Vi need to keep Jerky alive. They need to also play on off angles. But with this map, as soon as these walls are broken here, there's going to be a lot more space for Terra to work with.
That Kraken impact is available as it starts now. Looking at the front line of Rojaro, who's still holding on into the back line. Trust Me finds Terra after that ultimate, and that's a tough look and a huge trade as Millennia now taking out Jerky after all. Back and forth. mark, but the res comes through here for Jerky.
Yeah, that was a smart job. This work just really, I mean, it's not a smart job. He just throws out his BRB, brings back Jerky into the fight, gives them the advantage. Harvey holding as long as possible. Is he going to have to use the Eternal Bond yet? Not necessarily. He's waiting for cooldowns, but loses Millennia.
Is going to just use this to stall point for as long as possible. Looking directly at the front line here of Vinny, who's just going to be playing on point. The whole team and the side of Na'Vi is looking to pick off anyone coming in from spawn, but Terra is back now, but on the Star-Lord. And not off-map of Star-Lord, who does have some of that movement. Jerky going to find Elena. Harvey goes down, and Terra and TTK, and that's a full wipe right there.
Portal play is going to have to come out now. Swamp comes through from Na'Vi. Actually, maybe they don't have to use it just yet. We're going to wait till last second, but I mean, it's tough. 15% left to go when they just respawn. We'll see. Harvey switches to it. No, they know the sun's going to have to come through from Noggin towards the spawn. Can Harvey get the portal off without getting stunned?
Looks like it will come through, just barely. 4% on, and there is that touch. Full team commitment. Trust me, dancing on the portal, just waiting for a play on the back line. Terra in danger there. Naga on the high side, keeping the pressure onto the front line as Trust Me gets a pick on a Terra, and that is a huge pick followed up here. But Heaven's Retribution, and Delena is going to be able to find one, but wow, Fate with a two-piece heading off map here is going to find these picks.
Yeah, I mean, it secures the end by going off the map. Vinny could jump back, and smart. Jerky closes out. Na'Vi with overtime ticking down have closed down 100 Thieves on round number 1. That was perfection, Shib. Na'Vi just really looked good. They looked smart. The fights they lost, really no team could win. And at the current moment, that was a big map on Stellar Spaceport. Now we're going to Warrior Falls. This is a map where we know Terra's popped off before. You've seen him. You've casted him for 20 years, just getting Kraken Impact resets. Punisher last stands. Na'Vi on the opposite side. Jerky is looking crazy, dude. He's so good.
Yeah, Jerky's looking really good on that Psylocke, which is definitely a little bit of a weak point here for 100 Thieves. And we will see Fate likely a big threat on that Jeff, because this map has a huge off-map potential.
Absolutely. Fate, you mentioned it. Everybody's supporting him, too. When Fate goes for those off-maps, he saw the invisible boundary keep him alive while he did that. Like, he was so close to the edge. In this map, too, we'll see what happens as Trust Me on the last angle, too, looked so clean on the Angela. He's looking as good as he did in mid-season. So right now, or sorry, in mid-finals, in the grand finals on Angela, he's looking to cement himself as the best Angela in the game.
Run the tactics again.
Teams begin now. You can see the alts on the top here. Rajaro and TTK available with that Psionic Seduction. Jerky does have that Dance of the Butterfly, and we've seen so much success from Jerky this entire series and honestly, this entire tournament. The dance goes out now. The scariest dance in Rivals is followed up there as Millennia gets picked off early on. Jerky is going to drop back towards the team as Rajaro gets a two-piece Jerky now onto Vinny, and they will get point early.
Yeah, right now they're trying to give the Rocket Pack 2 to Jerky to make sure he can survive, right? Just setting up Jerky, it's always hard. It's 100 Thieves' entire game plan, right, Chip? To find Jerky, to find this BRB. They can't because they're playing front-to-back style, so with that, they can't even set up to deal with Jerky because Jerky has been able to do whatever he wants with all the support from his team every single time, not going down. That's the most important thing for Na'Vi, though they don't have any ults. They could definitely make this work in the neutral, scare off 100 Thieves. They've been late with support ults or strategist ults, and they don't have any right now.
100 Thieves needs to find some wins here in these neutrals as TTK is going to commit, but Delena now is going to be on that Psylocke, taking out Crook. Rajaro goes down from Terra. Make it 2, why don't you, on the reset. Bang! Looking for another on the side. Good movement right there, but still Jerky falls as Terra does not miss with a 3-piece right there.
Clean moves by 100 Thieves to swap Delena over to the Psylocke. It makes a lot of sense. They want to help Vinny on these dives. They also need to make Na'Vi's backline more uncomfortable. Crook, Fate, they are some of the best in the game in the strategist role. They're really good and really evasive. Vinny hasn't been able to do it himself. Delena swapping over to the Psylocke with a little bit of support from Millennia and those Invisible Woman shields should be able to stay alive and deal with Na'Vi.
Yeah, taking that point back at the early 20% is a huge early win, as last time got to 85, and that should give them enough to at least have a few fights. Ooh, they got a touch point, and they do from TTK there. Out goes that Sia. TTK's in a dangerous spot. Really smart play here from Na'Vi, putting the pressure on, but Harvey matches it right back, and goodbye to the Sia, which is then focused. And the End Song Inferno comes through. Nobody goes down, but a pick comes through here from Delena. To level 1, Crook, and a huge hit again by Fate, who is just insane on the baby land shark.
Takes them all off the map. Na'Vi, what a fight. Wipe and Fate with 3 off of the Angela connecting. That combination is beautiful to see, Shib. I mean, just Trust Me setting up Fate, then the rest of the team playing around him. That was beautiful. I mean, there's the combination we've seen earlier with those Blade ults alongside Groot training Prison, kind of like that. Na'Vi sets up the team.
And that's a little bit slept on, as you can't use movement cooldowns when you are held there by Heaven's Retribution from Angela. So that is a crazy combo that we have seen success with twice in a row now here from Na'Vi.
Map change, now you can float in the middle of the point, and they started off with a freedom charge.
As they begin now, Terra gonna find Jerky early on, and we know how valuable that is, with the res likely coming through. No, as Trust Me goes down, switching over to the group now. Rajaro in a dangerous spot from Delena, who's looking so good on this Psylocke, and that is the change that has been really working out for him, applying more pressure to that back line.
Yeah, they're going front to back to try to deal with Delena. Delena has ult ready to go. They also have the support for him. We talked earlier, this is a great map for Terra. Na'Vi don't have Shrouded Assaults right now, but they can slow down this push with Rajaro's Psionic Seduction.
And we will begin here, likely with that dance of the Cutterfly. Millennia holding on to that invisible boundary, and there is that dance now. The Paddock Kick goes out from the entire team. Naga goes down from Delena with that early pick, exactly what he's looking for. Terra just trying to build and hold on. That ult's ready here with the Kraken Impact.
83% on the board now, 100 Thieves trying to close it out. Can they do it? Na'Vi do have those Shrouded Assaults they were waiting for, and they also got rid of the Dance of the Butterflies. Delena is going to be target. Nice hook from Terra!
Can they follow up here with TTK? They cannot for the moment. Meteor M is available, which could be huge against a strategist line. Out goes that bubble up in the sky, looking for a dunk. It comes in, bang, onto Jerky, and that's one here for 100 Thieves. Still maintaining pressure on the point, and Terra holding on to that Kraken Impact. It could be huge.
He's holding on. Here it comes. Now connects onto multiple. Fate of the Worlds is here to keep him healthy. Also, they need to buff this Endsong Inferno. Here comes Naga.
The damage boost coming in from Naga takes out Terra, but Terra does not go without a fight and takes out Trust Me, Rajaro now. And here comes that Eternal Bond. Naga onto Millennia, and they're still stalling this point at 99. But can they pressure through as another dance comes out from Delena? One goes down, two goes down. Do I see three as TTK cleans up Rajaro? And we are heading, potentially, no, the portal comes in.
Here, no point flip, though. It's still in 100 Thieves' favor. So with this overtime so close, if Na'Vi loses anybody in the objective, they lose, but they find Delena. Huge pick by level 1 Crook.
Jerky now, and a very dangerous ultimate is gonna find one. Do I see two and three as Fate takes out Terra? Coming in there, somebody's got to put on the mask.
What a turnaround. The portal can't come in either later because of 100 Thieves dying or going down in this overtime. 60% on the board. This is the matchup that we've been waiting for. If you are in the audience right now, you want to get in the seats at the current moment because 100 Thieves do have ultimates available for this upcoming fight. Meteor M is going to be here. Na'Vi switch Naga over to the Daredevil to go for an aggressive dive and maybe help up set up Jerky with also this idol on Jerky. He's getting some extra healing from that Luna Snow.
Yeah, that was a beautiful retake, as now they are going to be slightly up in ult advantage. Trust me, holding on to that Eye of Agamotto as discussed, but Meteor M here for TTK, who did land last time. 94, almost 95% now, is charging and still being held on this space. Got to come in here with 3% left. The whole team slowly pushing forward, but allowing these ults to build. It is a little dicey. Got to make a play soon.
Naga going low, has to fall back to the team right now. Ultimate built up. This is going to be last fight territory for both squads. We'll see who can come out on top, and trust me, has that eye ready to go.
Oh, looking for a jump here to hit that ceiling, so that ult will find success. Out goes that invisible boundary. Can TTK land on one? No, not able to do so. Trust me, not getting much success. As Delena gets a pick. Rajaro go on to Delena as it's traded out. A Vanguard and a Duelist down over time. Is now picking up, and Jerky takes out TTK. Terra finds one. Fate onto Harvey, and again, Na'Vi come back and take map 1.
What a map from Na'Vi. The portal play was huge. They come back in overtime, somehow find a pick on Delena, and that's kind of the way forward. That's the tough part for 100 Thieves. Ban out Delena's hero pool, make him play that Psylocke, and you'll be in a situation like that. It's a risk, but you have to take that right now if you want to move forward in this lower bracket.
The thing is, Delena's Psylocke has looked pretty good. I don't think it, I don't think it needs to be put away necessarily. It's finding a lot of value, very similar to what we're seeing from Jerky, but Jerky's finals are always just insane. Another MVP here from Jerky with 18.
You're right. I mean, Jerky was crazy, and that's the big reason why Na'Vi is so good and why Jerky is that guy. He was not going down. That's people talk about Psylocke, right? And Delena does get the SVP on the other side, but listen, Shiv, I played with you in ranked, all right? You know, even at the highest levels of the game in Celestial, when you reach one above all level, when you get to that highest tier of ranked, mechanical skill in terms of your aim, it does not set you apart in Marvel Rivals. What sets you apart is the ability to live, the ability to just go in, understand what you did, and then fall back. Delena was doing that, but it was really hard. The best Psylocks in the game are just such a pest. They never go down. It's almost like a tough out in baseball if you're a fan of it.
Yeah, it's all about those little trades, pulling out cooldowns and then dropping back to start another fight, and Jerky has just been doing so much of that, but gotta show some love here to Fate. That Jeff was insane, and then making the switch to Luna and still ending with 10 finals, 1 final behind Terra as a strategist.
Yeah, right now, I mean, this whole team is looking like a well-oiled machine. Taking a look back at round one, Jerky was the star of the show, but it's, as you mentioned, fate in the middle of these upcoming fights would always find picks. In the neutral, if Jerky's popping off like that, I'm scared of Na'Vi, right? But that's just a one sort of part of the situation. The second part is what you said with fate on these jet bolts connecting, and if those two things are a problem against Na'Vi, I'm scared because they are finding basically a fight win every single combination and in the neutrals.
And this is such a tricky thing to ban out because if you leave Mantis in, you give level 1 Crook Mantis, which is arguably the best Mantis in this entire game. And then if you let Jeff through, you have Fate. So what is the answer? I do not know. Looking forward to seeing what they change up in the ban phase here coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get rid of the Jeff, probably. I imagine they protected the Psylocke early, so they're showing that. As we move on to Convoy or Convergence, that changes things up too, though. So they're not banning for Domination now, the map we just finished up upon, unless we see it later on as the maps reset, because Convoy or Convergence changes the meta entirely, Shib, right? Like, I feel like the Emma Frost we see a lot banned on these upcoming Convoy and Convergence map types, and that might change in terms of focusing on the Vanguards like 100 Thieves did on that map.
Yeah, and TTK was allowed to play Emma there, but just not finding a ton of value just due to the movement across their team and positioning.
That's kind of the thing we're seeing today, Shib. It feels like the Emma Frost players are always stunted, right? Doesn't it seem like that? It feels like Emma Frost is almost the character that relies on a lot of support.
Yeah, Emma does a great job, as we said, in the neutral, but when these comps are so self-survivable and they're all over the place, you really are just finding yourself trying to use that diamond to find one pick, and that is a huge cooldown to burn. If you miss it, you're not getting a ton of value. So you're using that laser to burn frontline, but when the frontline's consistently moving all over the place, and it's just not that worth it, it's a little bit tricky.
Now, we do move on to a Convoy or Convergence, right? 100 Thieves are really good at front-to-back style composition.
Yeah.
Na'Vi are starting to look like the old former Na'Vi where they're really good on domination. I would be a little scared if you're Team Na'Vi going to Convoy or Convergence because of that fact, because 100 Thieves can put Vinny back onto Groot. They can put, you know, Vinny back onto heroes that I would say he excels at, right? It's tough for Vinny, I think, to pick up Captain America and Venom because of how hard those characters are to play. And maybe for Na'Vi's side, the opposition, they're not going to be able to play the Cap or the Venom as too high of a level on Convoy or Convergence.
Sure, and I have no doubt it's going to be Convoy Yggdrasil because they've held point 1 there twice in front of the big stage, which has been incredibly intense against some amazing teams.
Looking at these stats too, Na'Vi obviously doing better in the damage department, but it comes back down to that damage taken stat too, right, Shib? We see, I mean, nearly 20k extra damage taken by 100 Thieves, and I think a lot of that did go into Vinny. It was a really tough map for him on Venom, on Cap, and onto pretty much every other hero.
And those finals, 48, that is just that Psylocke story, right?
Yeah, right now, Na'Vi, and specifically Trust Me and Jerky talking behind the scenes about the bans, about the drafts. I mean, this guy, talk about a star, 29 eliminations in that map? Are you kidding me? 18,000 damage on 18 final hits, and on top of that, only 5 casualties, right? That's the number one thing, is that Jerky is putting all that damage and not going down. He's such a good player.
It's exactly what you had highlighted, a player that can go in, burn cooldowns, get out, and then come back in with an ultimate later and find those finals. And just a shout out again to that back line from the side of Na'Vi, only going down the least in the entire map, which is a testament to their positioning and skill on those heroes.
Absolutely. You know what I'm sad about, Shave, just to make it a little bit lighthearted? I'm sad that he's not mewing right now, Jerky. You know? Shout out Leg Day, trying to copycat one of the best mewers out there. Miss you, Leg Day. But I'm a better caster, obviously. Just kidding. Love you, Leg Day. Back at home watching on the coach stream. You're awesome. We're heading over to Yggdrasil's Path, the second map of the day, into the draft phase. 100 Thieves versus Na'Vi. Map number 2. We're just getting started in this first of 3, Shib, and the ban phase is where it all kicks off.
And this is where they have excelled. 100 Thieves love this map, and we will see Na'Vi say goodbye to that Emma Frost off the rip, and 100 Thieves do not want to see level 1 Crook on that Mantis, which I think is a smart play.
Yeah, thinking about it, I mean, that makes sense for Na'Vi. We move over to this map. It's like you said, the Emma Frost pops off harder on these maps, but we saw Emma Frost get through on Convoy and Convergence against Chopper Mag, and it worked just fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with that. This is kind of bringing me back to the old ban strategy they had where they were banning out Emma Frost and then immediately locking Frost, and it didn't seem to work for them nearly as much, in my personal opinion, but again, and there it is right there.
Yeah, the Emma Frost lock, it makes sense, exactly. It's like you said, but trust me, you just need to see a little bit more out of their one-sided Emma Frost matchup in Rajaro, but also for Na'Vi's side, it does make sense, and it shows how much they value TTK's Emma Frost because of how good he is on that hero.
And Rajaro and Trust Me can both run a very solid Emma, but it's kind of strange. Sometimes they'll bounce back and forth as to who's on the Magneto and who's on the Emma, and I think that adds a little bit of confusion and maybe a little bit of almost jealousy, or I could have handled that better type stuff in terms of the team comms. So it's a little tricky, as a lot of these teams really have hard lines as to who runs who.
And it makes sense as well for 100 Thieves to ban out the Mantis first and then go into the Psylocke ban because of how well Jerky played on top of the Venom. But it's, as you mentioned earlier, Shiv, maybe the Venom wasn't even the main focus point. Both teams are getting Jeff the LAN chart today, buddy, on this upcoming map where we've seen Jeff's do pretty well. Maybe not as well as other maps, but we've seen off maps here too.
Yeah, Millennia's a really strong Jeff, and coming from a duelist role, I mean, Jeff at this point, kind of a little bit of a duelist strategist with some aggressive plays and can very much, head towards the back line and just disrupt and then come in with a big, it's Jeff.
So what is the last protect here for 100 Thieves, Shiv, right? We see the Jeff protect for Na'Vi. We know what they're going to do here for Fade. That's what we got to see. They're deciding, right? It's a tough one. Do they want to keep the Psylocke as they still have that available? Do they want to keep something for Delena? It's the Bucky.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. You can really bully Groot if Groot was going to be running that triple line in the front. You don't have to worry about the ban as much if you do have Bucky up there. And, that is a very smart ban there from Na'Vi.
Yeah, old strategy, Shiv. Like we saw back in group stages, banning out the Stranger versus teams like Envy was a strat in North America. I'm sure in EMEA, same thing.
Yeah, and an answer to not having that portal is to run Warlock. So what they did was they banned out Adam Warlock, so there is no real way to get back to this point if they do get locked out. So very smart banning strategy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are entering map number 2. Getting late here in Atlanta, but it's only the East Coast, so for our West Coasters, I'm sure you're all alive and kicking today. Na'Vi trying to keep their hopes alive at getting back to that grand finals. In the grand finals, Shiv, double up on that bad boy. That's how excited we are for this $1 million tournament. And what a great map to do it on, too, because this is a classic in the Marvel Rivals esport.
We've seen in the past Terra come out of this door with the Bucky and put some serious work in, and Delena back-to-back Storm play out the door. I have no doubt that will be something we witness. Will they run the Jeff to make sure they can get that Jeff NATO? It's found a little bit of success here and help them drive through point 1 quickly, which is what they are looking to do.
Yeah, good point, Shiv. I mean, that makes a lot of sense for this squad of 100 Thieves. They have to figure out Na'Vi, and we've seen they're one of the better teams. It's like they just really do a great job versus triple compositions. Na'Vi running that triple Vanguard, triple Triton line against 100 Thieves, who, they have to deal with the BRB on the backside from Naga, who has it available, which, by the way, we've heard behind the scenes, when you put a duelist player onto Rocket Raccoon, it's noticeable when they don't climb up the walls fast enough and maybe get away from other people and drop down a good BRB location.
Yeah, I was going to say the BRB locations are pretty much a tell as if they're a duelist player in there. There's a ton of damage onto Jerky with the wall off there. Good play from the side of Vinny to break that LOS, and now they're just going to keep this pressure. TTK finds Trust Me early.
And he wasn't close enough to the BRB. Trust Me's the one res in this fight. That means that they'll be missing one. Na'Vi is for now, and another pull from Terra's huge.
Yeah, and that's even more of an advantage there from that pull from Terra, pulling away from the location of that BRB. And folks, you can see a little icon on your screen when you're within range to be res. Millennia gonna find Fate and say, I am Jeff, just like I am Groot, as Terra walks forward onto Rajaro.
Yeah, this is terrifying right now for 100 Thieves, and it's because of that man himself, Terra. Delena as well on to Trust Me. Stagger picks is worrisome. Na'Vi have portal, so they can come back last second to touch.
And they are progressing forward now as Terra and Harvey finds one onto Jerky. They're still maintaining the space. The portal comes through and the whole team able to get on that touch, but the Strangling Prison is available, waiting for that shield to go down and going to try to take height and launch it at the back line as we see a Kraken impact. As a huge eat comes in here from Fate. Can they sweep through right into the spawn? That is a big play as Vinny gets taken out from that. It's Jeff Delena, though, going to start off with the Omega Hurricane and trade right back into Fate. Will that be enough for them to press forward as a huge Jeff NATO now is placed?
Yeah, here comes Meteor M and Invisible Boundary 2. I mean, they want to close out on them, right? Make sure they can get the fight win. Ultimates you can build up later. You can't always cap the map out after 100 Thieves came back at 0.07 meters left. And thank God we're not on TikTok, Shiv, because I bet you the kids would be saying 6.7 instead of 0.07. Sorry, that was a bit out of pocket.
I was wondering when that was going to naturally come up in the cast as we're starting up again.
It never does. It never comes out naturally. 6.7 needs to get KO'd,
4 minutes and 23 on again. 100 Thieves on the attack here. Looking so good with this comp that definitely not traditional in the sense that a lot of teams are running something like this, but Jeff NATO is finding a ton of value.
Yeah, it is. It really was strong on the attack for 100 Thieves, but we'll see how it can continue. Wow. The fallback, and nice job by Trust Me to stay alive with that Freedom Charge.
We're seeing how that Freedom Charge, though, in the neutral, if the team can drop back, will be worth it here for 100 Thieves. And there's a huge ult from Vinny. Looking at one. Will they be able to clean up? Yes, Jerky gets picked. And again, that is Jerky, a very strong player. Removing Jerky from the field now allows him to walk right towards the backline. Terra finds one, but what a freeze there from level 1 Crook. Will there be follow-up in the reset? No! Level 1 Crook says not today.
Yeah, but unfortunately, if you've noticed in Marvel Rivals, if you're Luna Snow with a big freeze, sometimes it just results in you getting staggered. Right now, Crook is running from his life. He's running back to the spawn, using the passive, though, to get away, movement speed, but this court is still pushing Chip.
Yeah, and that is a tough look at potentially a retake here. And they're just going to look, this could potentially be massive, but they're able to turn around and focus in that moment under Crook. And Crook get back to the team, that would be insane. As level 1 Crook gets a pick on it, Delena, are you kidding me? Trust me, onto Harvey. What am I looking at here? As Navi is coming back hefty. Make it 4! Are you kidding me, level 1 Crook?
He's just an ad right now, man. I want to go download whatever game he's selling because it's Marvel Rivals today, and he's level 99. Crook popping the heck off on the flank, and that's the thorn in the side that Navi needed to deal with the front-to-back comp of 100 Thieves. He set something up, set a flank up, and Crook might as well make it a strategist player, which you would assume would be in your back line instead of theirs.
Rajaro going to start off now, and trust me, going to clean up Millennia early on, and that's not a lot of commitment here for a win, but Delena is going to find level 1 Crook Terra now on a Trust Me. Jerky takes out Delena, the numbers roughly even in this moment. Spawn in the favor of 100 Thieves as Naga now commits. Out goes that invisible boundary. Team is going to elect to dance around as a huge eat comes in here. Oh my goodness, Fate with 3, trying to get off map with 2 seconds. Will it work out? Yes, it does. What a throw from Fate.
He gets 2, there's 2, like you mentioned. Harvey as well gets help from the back line, stays alive, but it's the man advantage for Navi. Like you said, Shiv, they're pushing in. Harvey goes low. He's going to get Snagger, crack an impact from Terra. Oh no, he doesn't have a team for it. He got stunned. That could be a waste.
That is a unlucky situation. And trust me, looking to find another pick there on a Millennia in a dangerous spot. Is able to escape now, but Navi coming back with a vengeance after those first few fights and looking so good.
Yeah, right now Navi starting to string a few fights together, like you said. Shiv, 100 Thieves now walking with Delena back on Psylocke. This is the default they're switching to. Now they want to set up TTK. Maybe that Freedom Charge or early force, like you called that earlier, could help. But right now Navi to set up the angles with that charge.
Still holding on to a strangling prison. Trust me, going to start up here with the Freedom Charge. The team is now going to drop back. They do have a dance floor available. Terra onto Jerky in the neutral is a big win. Do they need to commit a ton more? Is up in the sky. TTK, bang, is going to find a pick on a Rajaro. What a throw there after Rajaro gets a pick onto Harvey. Down goes the itch. Jeff does not find too much value from the side of Millennia, but does force out a couple cooldowns as level 1 Crook starts dancing.
Fate could be huge. He's building up the itch, Jeff. It's available, ready to go. Do they want to take another fight? The card's only halfway through. You have all the time in the world. Navi need to slow it down, maybe not get picked up, going up to the high ground. Crook gets the heals from Fate, and they're still surrounding. Nobody falling. Vinny, he could maybe toss out a strangling prison trying to catch somebody, but he hasn't found Not.
You got to get up to that point up there just to at least have a chance on second point, because this is a very tough hold spot. Out goes the end song, and another eat here from Fade, who is able to find one at the moment, but does have dash available there. You can see Delena pop out, does fall. Good focus from the side of Navi once again. Trust me, with a pick. Ultimate advantage here for 100 Thieves. It's time with Terra and Harvey.
Navi's playing so clean, they're so smart, and on the opposite side, 100 Thieves, not so much, right? The Strangling Prison could have been used earlier trying to find a pick off the Snagger. They're not really, they're playing passive. Navi, huge work from them to set up plays, play proactively, put 100 Thieves on the back foot with 20 seconds left to go.
And the fight begins again. Delena is going to launch out with the dance of the Cutterfly. Find one as Trust Me takes out Harvey. Again, that early pick onto Harvey from Trust Me has been hugely important as Rajaro drops Vinny. Not able to use any cooldowns with a bunch of CC. Terra finds Jerky though. The reset comes through. Down goes the Itch Jet from Millennia with one in mouth. Off map likely here. Bang. Goodbye to Rajaro. Can they keep this pressure as the rest go down?
They can. That was a huge eat from Millennia, but guess who's coming up on their own? Navi will be able to stagger. They have Stranded Assaults and Crook. They have Trust Me with that Freedom Charge. Fate as well. Goodbye time for himself to set up this Itch Jeff. 100 Thieves in overtime are going to rely on a pickoff maybe, and also Harvey in the Invisible Boundary, but this is going to be close. TTK is going to have to be huge and shut down Fate.
And the fight begins again. This would be a huge point take in a situation where they were held for a very long time. Out goes the... Psionic is launched. The Invisible Boundary is launched. Trust me here with the Freedom Charge as the damage boost comes in from Jerky. Using that end song in a ceiling so it cannot be bursted with damage boost is so smart. And they find a two-piece, but TTK is going to find Jerky still heavily down in numbers. Can they clutch up right now? Got to stay on in OT. The Itch Jeff goes under here from Fate. Fate looking for anyone, does find one, and two teammates back towards the point they go as the pick comes through, and that should do it here. Yeah. As Na'Vi are clutching up here on point 2.
What a map. Na'Vi, they look like the incredibly well-oiled machine we talked about earlier. They are firing on all cylinders, and 100 Thieves on the opposite side are not, but I can't see how they can, right? This is a, we talked about earlier, front-to-back style team. They always kind of stick as a cohesive unit. That means on the opposite side, Na'Vi can just think about it, right, Shib? They can, on their side, set up their own angles, know what 100 Thieves win condition is, and that's just to walk forward, rely on pickoffs. And when Na'Vi understand that, they set up not only their duelist and setting up the side of Jerky, but also we saw Rajaro. He was going off on the Emma Frost. He basically had his way with TTK. TTK, we talked about him being one of the best Emmas in the world. It seemed today that Rajaro is looking to claim that throne.
Smart play here from Na'Vi is removing that Strange. 100 Thieves have stopped point 1 multiple times, but removing that Strange completely changes what they're looking to do. Is now likely going to run a different composition, yes, because there is no way to stay in the fight, as we see Vinny and TTK running a more traditional front to back, as you talked about.
And it's very interesting, too, for 100 Thieves. Looking at their comp, you said it's different. It's because Delena's on Hela, his pretty much best hero, right? We saw previous maps, Delena popping off on the Hela. Terra not going for that Namor team up, instead opting for the Bucky because of the recent patches, right, Shib? He's so strong now.
Yeah, Bucky's in a great place, and we've really only seen a few teams run that team up successfully, with the Namor and Fly being one of them, looking insane on that team up.
Sorry, Jib, but Na'Vi's read it. I mean, they're off of the counter 3-3 composition that most teams run.
Yeah, they looked upwards. You can actually get a LOS on the enemy team if you take the height and look out the window. So some of the heroes that can fly up there can get a little peek and tell you what's going on. As TTK, they are going to be playing around that natural first corner. As Rajaro looks for a grab, not able to make that happen. Out goes that invisible shield to keep Rajaro healthy. He's now playing on the right side of point. Jerky just dealing as much damage as possible. Level 1 Crook already at 50% alt charge.
Terra right now, trust me, he's just going to drop on Delena. Delena gets the invisible shield forced away, but he's going to get back on the high. Meanwhile, TTK on the main ground, kind of just taking a little bit of space towards that payload, towards that convoy shield to keep bring Terra back in. The charges from this Bucky have been insane with the pulls, but nobody grabbed just yet.
And that is exactly what Rajaro's looking for. Force that bubble out on a teammate and then walk in and get the free tackle as a ton of damage comes out there from Rajaro, looking upwards towards Vinny. As Trust Me is being a huge problem to the back line, finding Millennia again early on. This cap from Trust Me has been wild, and they are still going to sweep the rest of 100 Thieves.
You know what, if Na'Vi looks this good, I'm a little worried for any team that's going to play against them. Right now, Na'Vi haven't lost a step. Second phase of the map, close out on 100 Thieves. They find Vinny, they play slow enough. Nobody gets picked off by Delena. Such a smart team right now, Na'Vi is.
Vinny just waiting for the last possible moment to touch, and maybe they're not going to touch there. They are going to give it up, as there is no commitment with Portal, not able to make that work, and this is a huge ban.
And I don't know how on the second phase of the map you let Delena pop off. It's going to be so hard for him. Trust me, he's going to be able to shut him down easily.
Yeah, and that's what he's looking for here, and there's the play right now as we're getting eyes on. Out goes the bird, and bang, coming in, Trust Me, is going to be able to work towards finding one, as Jerky now, with the damage boost from the Sia, is going to drop Delena. Naga onto Millennia, and wow, here comes the answer here.
Both Buckies with the Kraken impact hovering over each other. Naga closes out on the Harvey, gets the reset back towards that cart. Naga also cementing himself in the legacy of Marvel Rivals Esports as he closes it out on Vinny. Back to the spawn, 100 Thieves go. Delena switches to Psylocke. I mean, I don't think this is the solution. I think 100 Thieves are scrambling right now. They can't find a play on the Na'Vi, who are just making 100 Thieves run around in circles.
I really think the banning phase here is Insane from Na'Vi, and it's just coming into fruition. You can really see the impact of not having that Strange in this moment, as now Trust Me is likely going to portal block out here just to try to ensure they could bide more time, and so can deal a little bit of damage. He's going to use that to wall off that zone, potentially catching a strategist, but either way you can go through that portal, come through the other side, and be right where we saw Trust Me. This is a defensible position here for 100 Thieves, as that will likely be gone in a moment. 20 seconds later, Rajaro going to start off with a Sonic Seduction. Look upwards toward TTK, who cannot be CC'd, looking for a downtown throw. Does clip the edge of that shield, unfortunately, is going to be low, but just play on that natural cover of the card. start.
Yeah, Rajaro, unsung hero for this team, saving them for the media ram. Right now, 100 Thieves, it looks like they're playing reactionary Na'Vi. It seems like everything they do is with a purpose. 100 Thieves now they need to set up the Dance of the Butterflies.
Terra is going to find Naga, though, and that's one as Fate brings Naga right back. Psyche live numbers are even. Delena forces nothing out in that moment as TTK is going to take out level 1 Crook. Jerky on a TTK as the trades are once again even. Rajaro, so much pressure here. That laser at 70 charge is going to potentially find another as Trust Me takes out Terra.
They can close it out here, Shiv. Terra gone, no BRB to bring it back. Jerky finds Harvey. Jerky, is he the star player that we've been building up to be? Because he's finding pick after pick after pick, and here comes Millennia on the backside. He gets the Emma Frost at the very least. Delena finds Jerky, shutting down the star player of Na'Vi.
Just gonna displace as far as possible. Naga finds Vinny. Fate onto Delena. The numbers are dwindling here for 100 Thieves. Another from Naga as Millennia goes down. Out goes that invisible boundary, and they are just playing right on the edge of the card here. Rajaro is behind. TTK gets tackled. Naga again onto Terra is playing obscene. Make it a quadra here from Naga.
Naga's been insane, like you said. The payload, the stalls coming out of it. He, with the fate of the, or sorry, with the piece of the base, torches the payload. Same thing with Delena, but nobody else is here. Jerky finds him again on Spider-Man of all things, looking like Necros out here. Crook takes down Vinny, Millennia falls, and Na'Vi, just like we saw in the last series versus Chopper Mac, go up 2-0 and put themselves on map point. And whew, this team is looking good, Ship.
Confidence is everything at this stage in the tournament, and I'll tell you what, Na'Vi are looking so confident right now. 100 Thieves losing in the ban phase there, in my personal opinion, really allowing this team to walk them.
I don't know how 100 Thieves win right now. This is the tough part. When we go over to Convoy, you know, that's where you would assume the front-to-back comps would be good, but when Na'Vi's playing that strong, when Na'Vi is as a unit cohesively, we'll look at the stats later, Shit, when they come up on our graphic, because this team is just on another level, and I don't know if anybody can beat them because they are looking smooth. Now, the problem is we can see how they play tomorrow, right? It's today's its own day. Teams always talk about, you know, go next, go tomorrow. It depends on the matchup, right? It depends on the series you have. 100 Thieves, this meta is starting to feel less like theirs. We knew how good they were on front-to-back style comps, but we've seen how strong these dive comps have been, and you can see exactly why when teams are this good. In the meantime, we're going to have to take a look at our analyst desk and looking back at the series, because I'm curious what their takes are.
Well, our takes are going to be interesting because so far Na'Vi continuing their run, but Thieves are still making the work for it, and we have had a lot to talk about in the draft in particular, and I want to throw that over to you, Moxie.
Yeah, the draft was really interesting, right? Getting to see the Jeff make it all the way through on the side of Na'Vi, getting to pair up with the Heaven's Retribution of the Angela ultimate. So too was very interesting that the Winter Soldier managed to make it all the way out as well.
Yeah, Na'Vi made their adjustment. They were willing to let that Bucky slide farther and farther down. And 100 Thieves, they realized what was going on. They tried to get that duelist down. They do get it, but unfortunately it just never translated to the results they wanted.
We also saw a little bit there at the start. We saw 100 Thieves bringing out the Storm and the Jeff, but they did move away from it a bit, but potentially a little bit of, let's call it trauma for Na'Vi, having had to play against Citadel fairly often. Looking at the rest of this game, though, we saw so many rotations. These teams barely stayed on final picks for the whole time. Dan, what was the wildest pickup for you?
I mean, the wildest thing is Na'Vi being able to make it happen here in this entire map. Millennia and Fate going at it on the Jeff picks, but Fate obviously does come out in the end. The Na'Vi and 100 Thieves just scrapped back and forth, but Na'Vi just had so much more value when it came to these ultimate usages. These ultimate timings have been perfect for them. And 100 Thieves, again, looking out of sync. They need to find a way to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, they were also able to shut down the Kraken impacts, which is absolutely massive. I believe one of them as well was like 95% certain. I tried to go back through the VOD and work it out, playing a little bit of detective. Was down to a carbon crush coming out from Rajaro, being able to pick up Terra after the ultimate cast had gone on through and that aura had been applied over to the Emma. And when the CC was there, Na'Vi were able to continue with the follow-up damage and find the elimination.
And this is what this series seems to be, a game of milliseconds, the reactions to try and catch that Bucky once he lands to make sure he doesn't continue to get resets. The Spider-Man coming in for the last couple seconds there from Jerky to try and give them a couple extra seconds and to help delay Angela as they flew back in for the CC. But it's the damage where we start to see a little bit of a clearer story. And of course, the damage blocked Rajaro put on a clinic here, Dan.
Yeah, Rajaro, the man on the Emma Frost has been it's a very consistent pick for Rajaro, right? There's a reason why Na'Vi put so much emphasis on that hero in the pick bans. And we can see it right there, Rajaro just popping off every single time on it. A lot of damage blocked, a lot of damage done as well, especially in shredding down that front line of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk when you lose that first map on Domination and you take us over to Convoy, because that is the map where we see most of all the Emma being the instant ban. And that was something that Na'Vi were able to use against Thieves, right? Thieves went for the ban onto the Mantis, the traditional pick, and it was Na'Vi who took that risk, removing the Emma from play away from TTK. One-sided Emma is huge. It prevents so many rushdown compositions while also allowing your backline to have that buffer with the Emma shield, not requiring her to fully recommit away from the frontline position.
I want to dive further into this side of Na'Vi with you, Moxie, because we've been seeing a lot of focus onto players like Raja. We've seen a lot of focus onto players like Jerky, but Naga is someone, just because they're just quietly doing the work, who we don't hype up that much. So could you do that for us?
I mean, he was brought in, it was, oh my goodness, he was first on Team POVS, was actually where he originated from in his Marvel Rivals run. And he was brought in from a different game, but they prioritized picking him up with that experience. They figured that he would be able to acclimatize faster to the pace of Marvel Rivals and also understand the ultimate economy and positioning, and he got picked up as a Storm player. So the fact that we get to see on Convoy things like that Storm come out into the mix, he's on his home hero.
Yeah, and he's just the quiet duelist on the team. We do talk a lot about Jerky and how he's been the D-star player, D-star diver, but Naga has been so consistent enough that Na'Vi are able to get into this position, and we got to give more props to Naga for just being so consistent.
Yeah. Especially due to the fact that obviously when we really started to see him pop off was going to be in last stage, where Human Torch was more of the meta and Naga was just performing on that. But it looks like we are heading to Symbiotic Surface for our next match. Convergence has to be the map, as we just played Domination and Convoy. What are your two thoughts on this map? Let's start with Moxie.
Symbiotic Surface is the map where Jeff has the least amount of value in terms of that convergence. Central Park is a no-go if you want to have to go up against Na'Vi, because if you have to instant ban the Mantis, Fate with the Jeff is going to be able to make it through.
And Dan, what are some picks on this map that can get some extra value if we don't see Jeff? What are some picks that can go well?
I mean, we usually turn to verticality. Symbiotic Surface has a little bit of that verticality, albeit for some sections of the map, it's a little bit more difficult. And now with no more verticality available, I think really the dive composition could really shine, especially when you go into that first point. There is just so many different avenues of approach to that first site. Maybe you can strange portal up to the high ground. Maybe you can go in that deep little nooks and crannies inside the cover and be able to try to get off guard.
We are going to be heading into this draft. We've seen a sort of triple priority for a lot of these games with Jeff, but like you said, the priority goes down a little bit. Mantis has been highly prioritized, and we have just been sitting on the desk just looking for the Winter Soldier to appear with a X over it. So we're going to be starting off here.
This is also one of Groot's strongest maps when it comes to giving you a little bit of safe passage into those side rooms and also finding those isolation angles, which plays perfectly into the strengths of the Winter Soldier's follow-up on the Kraken Impact, as it is going to be the Mantis removed from both of these sides. If a team does want to go for the one-sided Jeff save, they're still going to have to worry about the next ban, however.
That's the problem, right? If you want to go for the Jeff, we talked about it just now, the value of Jeff on Symbiotic Surface in particular goes down a tiny bit, where 100 Thieves, though, look to get the Emma Frost. A great tool if you want to make moves forward or you want to go for retakes.
It's going to be the Emma save coming through from both of these teams. 100 Thieves will be able to secure TTK staple hero, but Jerky will not be able to secure his. Psylocke has been targeted out, as we're going to get to see Na'Vi actually sweep away the Adam Warlock, starting to remove heroes from Delena's hero pool. And this is starting to look like a very similar ban draft that Citadel used against 100 Thieves to secure out their victory on the third match.
Double Winter Soldiers removed, and there is that Venom You see a lot of symbiotic shenanigans with the Jeff that can come in and give some extra value. But like you mentioned, there's not really much in terms of environmentals here. So it would be for more of the Death Ball style of composition of just quickly speed boost and roll with it.
Is this next ban going to be the Hela? Is this next ban going to be the Hela to force 100 Thieves onto either the Psylocke for Delena or the Invis woman on the triple strategist line? What exactly do Na'Vi have here on this last ban that they lock in with?
It's going to be the Jeff for 100 Thieves. That's the save, the choice. And yeah, both teams having options to that symbiotic shenanigans, but 100 Thieves investing into the Jeff stock. Will it go up? Will it go down? Will the symbiotic shenanigans be enough to justify that Jeff save?
Rocket! It has to be the Rocket because of the Jeff save. You can't have the undivable backline in play from 100 Thieves, so Delena's hero pool is secured.
Taking away the Rocket, like you already mentioned, the Zootopia backline is so hard to pick off because they're both very fast. The healing output is very good where they have to just heal each other if there is a dive, and their ultimates can be extremely impactful. One for damage boost and one literally removing people from the point. So it is a solid ban, but like you mentioned, it lets through Hela, it lets through Venom. So many options here, Dan.
Yeah, so many avenues of opportunities for 100 Thieves, right? The Hela Namor composition available as well. So we're going to have to see a lot of adjustment from 100 Thieves. Na'Vi, can they crack the code here?
Moxie, quick thoughts before we head over.
It's just going to be a banger of a match as 100 Thieves have to secure the win here if they want to continue in the series.
And to continue with this series, we're going to send you back over to the casters.
Na'Vi up 2-0 to 100 Thieves. One more win will send the Thieves home and steal their dreams, progressing farther in this tournament. Symbiotic Surface. Let's begin.
I'm cranking my volume up, Shiv, if I'm a viewer right now, because at the current moment, Na'Vi are one of the best teams I have ever seen in Marvel Rivals history, right? And that's saying something because they just won at the midseason. But the Marvel Rivals esports as a whole in the Ignite series, the talent level, the competition has just been getting better. Everybody's improving, playing ranked, grinding their butts off in this brand new patch. And Na'Vi are trying to close out at 100 Thieves. Can 100 Thieves reverse sweep?
Trust Me is going to be on that Venom, just disrupting the back line as Terra is holding on to the Phoenix. There is some low ceilings here to get some of that insta-ultimates we've seen in the past, but they will not be running that Rocket, as it was banned out. That can help insta-KO any of the back line. Trust Me taking some damage, or putting some damage onto Vinny.
Right now, Vinny's going for those dives on the backside, so it's Trust Me, right? Get that snow flank, has so much pressure. Jerky dealing with Delena, 1v1. Delena wins it, Jerky goes down.
It's an early pick there for 100 Thieves, who are taking this pressure and trying to make sure they can build off it. Rajaro, though, going to find Delena to even the odds just a little bit here. Rajaro putting that shield out, gets bursted immediately, heading back towards the back line, going to retake as a unit. Vinny is going to be grabbed there, but it was actually used as more of a defensive escape tool, and just happened to grab him at that moment as Millennia is going under with the Jeff. TTK is going to find Fate right there with the follow-up with a huge play from Terra. Vinny, Harvey ready with ultimates at the moment, and Na'Vi has no answer.
I was just about to get ready to talk about how good Rajaro is, and then we see that from Terra, just weaves that baby around the corner. Shib, I know you talk about it a lot on your TikTok. He just pretty much swimmed around that angle, came through, dived on that back line. Terra, what a play from him. We know he's one of the most mechanically skilled players, and now 100 Thieves moving to the streets phase of the map.
And that is going to be an ult advantage here for 100 Thieves. Likely going to take that height as you see TTK and Vinny owning that space so they can't retake from up there. Trust Me, though, on that Venom. Can dive anywhere at any time. Is going to initiate here when you have that ultimate available right towards the back line. Hoping the team is separated. This could be a huge play with a little bit of an escape, but ult goes out. That reduction in healing of 30%. A ton of damage there onto Trust Me as an answer who is still holding on and dropping back towards his team.
Delena looking for Fade, who's on their back line, but the card is still pushing forward. You have one on it. Fade kind of dodging back and forth. Vinny ready to set up on his dive, but Na'Vi has the space. Psionic Seduction to slow down the push, but Fate of the Worlds keep everybody healthy on the side of Na'Vi.
Fade is walking, does get stunned there, but still able to escape in that moment, which is insanely strong in terms of the play. And out goes this dance. Does this one find value? It does, as level 1 Crook goes down with a two-piece out of Rajaro. Trust Me takes out Millennia, and that's a two-piece there. Answers right back, but Vinny trades with Trust Me, Terra onto Naga, and they're still walking this point.
You know, this is what we talk about when we talk about Terra, first of all, but when we talk about this meta, Terra with a nice three-piece in that fight, this meta people talk about is a deathmatch meta, right? You just just saw, you know, you got those first eliminations, you get those first KOs on our Thieves side, but it doesn't matter for Na'Vi. They came back found two. You have to close out. You have to rely on star plays right now on 100 Thieves side for Terra.
And that's an early pick there on a level 1 Crow, which is a strategist. So again, Terra looking very strong here on the Phoenix, getting a ton of value. Is this the new answer for this team, which is looking much different right now? Naga is going to start up here with the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, but goes right down from TTK, who punts him into a wall.
I mean, right now, Fate is doing so much on the high, just constantly pressuring out that back, but it doesn't matter because the pace of play is too much. TTK on them, but Frost is looking clean. Millennia, he eats Jerky, making sure he's out of the fight as well. Na'Vi and Fate specifically can't really find anything. He's just going to wait it out because it's been a really tough fight. The portal comes out, but is it too late? Millennia does go down. They trade it out. They still touch at 1.55 meters.
Now that is going to be a retake here from Na'Vi at the current moment. Terra able to find Rajaro. Fate onto Harvey. TTK falls from Trust Me. Vinny very low. Looks like the whole team is going to have to elect to retake as a unit, but good push there. But what a retake by Na'Vi. No more portal cooldown though.
Yeah, no more portal cooldown, but that was a really big retake, right? We saw Fate not go in. He's so smart, which is what we talk about. He's one of the best Jeff players. Sure, he didn't get value with that E. You see Jeff players miss their ults all the time, but that's on purpose. That's because Fate doesn't want to go down. We talked about the most important thing in Marvel Rivals is not going down, not getting KO'd, and Fate proves that there.
Yeah, if you pull out cooldowns, that's enough value. So as we see right now, Trust Me, going to engage and just try to get eyes all over the place with some slick movement now. Out goes that Psionic here from Rajaro. Everybody on 100 Thieves has ult available almost as Millennia still trying to build up there. Jerky goes up into the sky now on the Phoenix as well. Fate takes out Vinny. Terra onto Trust Me. Both the Venoms are removed.
Yeah, right now Terra's just running down Jerky. He doesn't even use his ult. I thought he might have had to use it, but the healing by his team is enough. No portal cooldown you brought out earlier. Naga's also still on that Doctor Strange.
Remember, folks, when you do use that Psionic Seduction on Phoenix, you do get a second HP, or full HP bar, so essentially a second life here. TTK walking in now towards Trust Me, pulls Crystal. 25% of the HP will be popped when that breaks. And up goes Terra, but it potentially blocked here. No, it's not Bang. Coming in hot is going to deal some damage, but the answer is up here with the Invisible Boundary.
Rajaro blocking that with his Carbon Crush now coming in. Invisible Boundary at least used. Here comes an instant butterflies on the high ground. Jerky goes down to Terra. Meanwhile, the damage is there from Delena. Rajaro also falls, and Naga just here to delay for a little bit longer. Can Trust Me find anything? Dodges the Jeff as well, or that was Fate in that fight. Nice shot by Delena to get out of the way, out of the mouth of Jeff, the Land Shark. Algomoto's here. Can he dash away in time? He looks like he does. Naga has nothing else here. No team to back him up, but just Trust Me on the card. Though to stall it out. Jeff in the back line. Can they find anything? It's Millennia to connect onto one. Delena falls, but it may not matter because Terra finds Jerky. He does get him. Naga as well to stall it out, but the damage is here from the squad, and we move to the third phase of the map.
That was some really good rotation from Na'Vi to stay on top of the point, but 100 Thieves, way to stay calm and collected. Definitely ensuring their comms are cleaned up here because they had great target priority and are now walking into point 3. 100 Thieves looking like a refreshed team here with 2 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock.
Jerky and Naga have swapped it up. They're going to Hella Namor. This is a comp we know that really likewise play well, but let's see if Na'Vi can play it well too.
Sometimes when we see compositional switches like this on the fly on the final point, it can mean the team is starting to feel a little iffy, but again, this team is so talented. We'll see what they're able to do. Trust Me coming in here with the Feast of the Abyss, looking towards Millennia, not able to find too much, looking just at Harvey. Naga follows up, and so does Rajaro, as that is 2, and they will have to retake as a unit, but do have a ton of ults available.
I will say, now that we're on this phase of the map, it's long range, so there's a lot of area for Jerky to work with. Same thing with Naga. Also, we know Namor is a natural counter to Psylocke with those squids, you know, especially with the undead squids you get with the Hella team up. Right now, this is a perfect switch up for them.
Out goes that Psionic here from Rajaro. Can they get some follow-up? And Delena looking for one in the back line. Terra is going to follow up onto Jerky, and that's 3 as TTK finds Fate. Make it 4, 5 as Terra and Harvey get 2 more, and that's all 6.
4 ults used for 100 Thieves, 2 ults for Na'Vi. That is the tell of that story. And 100 Thieves, Vinny has to pop off right now. I need to see something out of him if I'm a 100 Thieves fan. For Na'Vi, everything is kind of free for you right now. If you see you later early, save everybody in the spawn door. That'd be huge.
Going in with the Feast of the Big Fist quickly.
Dodge everything.
That is not a huge feast. It did buy some space there onto the point, but Jerky and Rajaro are now on point. Trust Me as well, burning out those cooldowns. Up goes Jerky in the sky, the goddess of death, putting Harvey in a very dangerous spot. Who does go down? Terra is going to find Trust Me. Naga finds Terra, though, and now the numbers are back in Na'Vi's favor. Goodbye, Millennia, and they are doing work on this retake with 18 seconds on. We likely will see a portal play.
100 Thieves were never going to win that fight. fight. That was a really tough one to win. Na'Vi, great job from them. Jerky going aggressive with that. Goddess of Death on top of Fate. Here's the portal play from Terra towards the main side of the objective, but they're going into a whale. Can he block it? They have no ultimates. Na'Vi can close it out here.
Likely we'll see the Strange Shield to try to block off some of that whale. Terra is on the high side. Delena with a pick on a Jerky, saying, I am the Goddess of Death.
That was a huge pickoff from him. Millennia through the backside. Here comes the whale, though. Candy traded. Delena gets on the ground, but he misses the shot. Naga! How could you miss such an easy shot? TDK on the backside takes down Rajaro, who's brought back by the BRB. Naga brings it back, but Delena finds him after punishing him after not going down.
The One Crook playing aggro here under the Delena. Millennia trying to walk away from the backline as Rajaro is still chasing here. They got to maintain presence on point. They have one on. Jerky takes out TTK, make it a two-piece on a Vinny, and they are up a number again. OT ticking down. This is looking like it will be held by Na'Vi.
It's getting intense. I mean, you could see it on both players in their crosshairs, right? You could see the emotion being worn on their sleeves, or at least on their mouse. I don't know how else to call it, because right now Na'Vi have done a fantastic job at shutting out 100 Thieves whenever they're coming back, right? These hero plays are not enough for 100 Thieves right now. They're going to have to figure it out as a team. In the meanwhile, for Na'Vi, they really only had one bad fight in that third phase when they pushed towards that main angle. They got caught by a Sonic Seduction, and then all went down. But besides that, Na'Vi is playing near flawlessly, Shib. They look like a good team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good hold for sure on point 3, but also you got to give credit to the push all the way to 3. 2 is a very defensible position. We will see when 100 Thieves can hold them tight. And a really good job on that first point, taking the space quickly and just capturing that point. If they can buy enough time, this may be what they need to get their first win.
Na'Vi is going to be a team that's going to be so hard for any other squad to solve. Right, if they continue, right? 100 Thieves could reverse sweep it, obviously, but for Na'Vi's side, it looks like they're trying to close it out, and they're not really struggling. I mean, you had some tough points there when you had that hella matchup on Delena, but he's not usually on that, right? That's not something you have to worry about, because we know how valuable the squad is. The desk called it, I believe Dan said it. Naga, one of the most valuable duelists in the game. Sure, stats-wise, isn't necessarily the best, but in terms of what he's doing for his team, setting it up, playing the flexible role this time around, which that was kind of Melio in the last tournament, really has been setting up his squad for success.
But you can see there by those stats, Terra has been unlocked. 18 finals on that attack. Will that momentum keep going? As Trust Me here is setting up a portal play right on the high side, backside, just enough to give them height in this first fight.
There it is. They go and sort of set it up, that angle. Like you said, Naga could find the pick. No necessarily cheese kidnap play like we see sometimes from Dr. Strange portals. In this case, setting up 100 Thieves to make them worry, and that's been the struggle for 100 Thieves. They don't know what to do when they get surrounded by Na'Vi. This time, they go aggressive. That's a smart play by them.
Terra gets one early on, and that is a good start here for 100 Thieves. Na'Vi looking to keep the momentum. There is some more damage as Naga's burned essentially all cooldowns right now. Very low, 19 HP does go down, but Trust Me taking out Millennia after that fight. Trust Me again onto Harvey. Level 1 Crook bringing back Naga. The numbers now heavily back in their favor as Na'Vi are looking very good on this first fight. Vinny dropping back, electing to wait until they need to touch at the last moment and come in as a team.
Na'Vi are just kind of clinical right now. Delena falls, Terra does trade Naga at the least, but at the moment I would have all of my eggs in the Na'Vi basket because they've surrounded 100 Thieves when they're playing a dive comp. Portal comes back from Millennia. Maybe it's too little too late though. They were about to cap it out, Na'Vi is, and they still look like they're going to do so because this portal isn't going to be enough. The staggers are going to eventually happen, and 100 Thieves are going to eventually be staged off this point. Delena does commit the ultimate. They're able to find one, but is it enough after the Jeffel, and everybody's there to close out 5 minutes now Na'Vi has in the second phase of the map.
When you're in the dance, you are not committed on point, and that will give them enough to take point 1. A good idea there to try to find some value. It was a last-ditch effort from Delena to try to find some picks, but did not come through. See Terra 99%, Harvey at similar at 80s, Vinny 95. We're a level 1 Crook. Naga, Jerky, and Rajaro will have answers here on the attack.
This dive is setting up right now in terms of Na'Vi. You can see both Naga and Fate sort of playing that too to follow in when Trust Me goes in.
Fight begins now. Owning this height, out goes that Sia. There is a huge combination from Terra with a 2-piece coming in with that Ensong Inferno. Looking for 3 there, and yes, down goes Naga. Trust Me falls from Vinny. And what a retake here by 100 Thieves, who were down in ults in that fight.
And this is the story of 100 Thieves. Terra putting the team on his back at specific times. It was a big insult on Inferno. It shut down level 1 Crook. See you later. Gets rid of all of the overhealth. And really, Terra has been that guy to put 100 Thieves in his sort of side angle, because 100 Thieves at the moment, right, rely on him heavily. They need to see more out of the rest of the squad. Vinny needs to pop off. I need to see more of TTK like we saw on defense if you want to see him win. For Na'Vi, though, they have ultimates to work with.
Naga looking towards the back line, letting the devil out, and that is going to be a nuisance. You can turn away and not get blinded, but Delena is in a dangerous spot. Way to jump out there is going to jump inside that invisible boundary. Then diagram out. Jerky with a pick there on a Millennia. Delena turns it right back, though. Harvey gets one. Trust me. Finding Harvey. Terra onto Trust Me. Fate onto Terra. And everybody is trading right now.
Ooh, deathmatch meta. Delena comes big and finds level 1 Crook. So it's back and forth. Rajaro finds him. I mean, it's 1 for 1 for 1 for 1, but can they hold on? There's 2v2 on the carpet to Jeff, healing his Venom, or healing his Captain America. Rajaro, and Trust Me, can find the rest of 100 Thieves, and this fight is still happening. They want to back up.
3 minutes on is plenty of fights and plenty of time here on point 2. Trust Me, going to engage now, going under with a Feast of the Abyss, and bang! With perfect timing, goodbye to Harvey. Naga is going to find Millennia. TTK gets a 2-piece though. Terra taking out Naga. Will that be enough on the retake? As Delena deals some damage onto Trust Me, burns cooldowns, but no. Trust Me takes out Vinny. Wow, this Venom battle's insane.
How does he keep doing it now? 1v1 of the car, you get the sparks off, you pop the Ensong Inferno just to connect, but it's a counter! Are you kidding me? Back onto Terra, but he's invulnerable because of it, though. Trust Me, he's found. 1v1 again, and Terra, he wins it!
Not even needing the melee animation canceled there. Still gonna find that melee pick as Fate goes down. What a maneuver by Harvey to dodge that ultimate.
And TTK does Carbon Crush to counter Fate with that with that ultimate on Jeff. It's Jeff now, Shib. We have 2 minutes left to go on the clock. They've got See You Later. Terra did happen to use his Ensong Inferno, so he can't counter that, but at the current moment, 100 Thieves and Terra, like you called out, is playing lights out.
2 minutes on now, still a ton of time as the first point was grabbed relatively early. Keeping pressure on the height here and always having eyes on point to ensure it is not moving forward. Everybody is battling again. TTK with an early pick there onto Rajaro. Naga has to drop backwards, looking towards anybody in the back line, but Jerky doing the same. He has to get inside that invisible boundary, goodbye to a clone that is not getting healed up by that boundary. Jerky finds Harvey though, and that's an early pick that is huge. TTK puts one down low, and Millennia cleans up Naga, and they're still owning presence on this point. Terra in a dangerous spot is going to be healed up. Vinny takes out level 1 Crook. Now on that cap.
Huge plays there from 100 Thieves. Zelena's starting to come online. TTK as well for Na'Vi. Relying heavily on Trust Me right now. It doesn't really matter. Jerky falls to Delena too, who's looking amazing on Psylocke. I mean, this is the best we must have seen him play Psylocke in the past year.
Delena definitely working on this Psylocke to deepen that hero pool. Has looked very, very strong, as you had mentioned. Ults will be available from Terra, Vinny, Delena, Harvey, as Naga, Trust Me, Jerky, Fate, and Rajaro should have ults in this next fight.
Sin back on the high ground, right, trying to start this reverse sweep with 60 seconds left to go for Na'Vi. They want to close it out right here, and it's Naga to try to do so.
Naga is dropping backwards again. Delena is going to find one. Terra onto Jerky, not committing too much at the current moment to ensure they can win this fight without overcommitment. Out goes those boundaries, or those additional shield as Naga goes down, and the retake will begin once more for Na'Vi. Delena looking for another pick with Terra, and down goes Rajaro. And we will not see a portal play just yet.
We're entering last fight territory here. Shiv, 30 seconds left to go. Na'Vi have basically every ultimate for 100 Thieves. Just use that Dance of the Butterflies. Millennia gonna have to try to live versus Naga, who's surely set up for that flank, but it's a few fight wins for 100 Thieves. They're starting to build that momentum.
This Phoenix is such a strong answer into Venom here, and Rajaro on that cap. That additional overhealth will be immediately deleted when that Ensong Inferno lands. Question is, will it land, or will it be bursted? Fate in a very dangerous spot with some insane movement. Trust Me, coming in hot here, is going to do some 30% damage reduction. Terra goes up to dodge, and there's a 2 double lead here. Land down, and Fate gets picked up by Harvey as they're still walking. 100 Thieves are owning space. Vinny, though, does have ultimate available, finds one of level 1 Crook. Jerky onto Harvey, as that all will now be deleted. Naga pops, let the devil out, but Delena drops Naga as everyone is trading, making a 2-piece Delena. We are in overtime now.
Are you kidding me, Vinny? Trust Me trying to stall. I mean, the portal play can come in a moment. Fate's going to be there, but it's one of your strategist players. You're going to have to figure something out. Delena, or Trust Me, going to be there with the rest of the team. I mean, you have some extra stall shit, but overtime's halfway through.
That is a huge ultimate to burn, but level 1 Crook going to take out Millennia. We might see a portal play back, and this could be a huge ultimate here. Will this one come through? Everybody stacking on and off point at the current moment. Overtime now, it flips over to 100 Thieves. It will tick down. If no one touches, now right back in the favor of Na'Vi.
Still touching on. I mean, they're trying to make things work right now. Shift Terra going aggressive into the ground, but he's got Ensong Inferno. Comes down into Fate, who blocks it with the shield. In the backside angle, I mean, they have to keep touching. Crook goes down. Overtime bat, nothing at the moment. Shiv is Vinny, chases down this Jeff. Forces him on the off angle. Jerky, who is on it now, close to that ult. Being chased down by Vinny. TDK on the main side takes down him. Trust me, Richaro and Freight trade though.
Oh my goodness, this retake is insane. The portal play needs to come through here for 100 Thieves. Na'Vi have been insane on these retakes. Every portal play has gotten value, but we will see it right back here. All it has to be in the last possible moment. This portal cannot be stuffed by the point, as they will try to look right towards the backline. Portal comes through, team is together. Ult advantage here for Na'Vi as Jerky now is on that Jeff with a huge Jeff potential. Trust me, goes under, it's huge. Terra though finds one early as they are up numbers once more. 5-6, make it 4-6 as Terra takes out Fate. There's that itch Jeff though from Jerky. Is it huge? Terra on a level 1 Crook does not find anything there from Jerky, who is low and down. Terra is insane right now, and they will stop Na'Vi.
100 Thieves starting to build that momentum. This huge sigh of relief from Terra there. The crowd starting to come alive in the last game of the day. As you can see, this is the last team you want to piss off. This is the last team you want to make angry, because when we've seen 100 Thieves succeed before, it's when everybody doubts them. Nobody believes in them. 100 Thieves do. They believe in themselves. They take a quick 2-0 loss. They come back in that last map, but
oh
Na'Vi,
my, are you kidding me?
I mean, look at those stats later on as Na'Vi. I mean, these guys have to kind of come back now, right? That was an incredibly tough map, and it was off the back of Terra popping off.
Yeah, I mean, this whole team, 100 Thieves, looked like a brand new team after those first 2 matchups. Backs against the wall. Their hopes of staying alive in this tournament still begin. They need to clutch up another 2 in a row to come back, but Na'Vi, a team that is not going to take this lightly, have been playing absolutely insane, and now will have map choice.
We'll see what they would decide to choose, Shiv, because they can choose whatever they want. Convoy, Convergence, Domination, everything is there. By the way, huge shout out to our fans in attendance here in DreamHack Atlanta. Thank you all for coming by. The Marvel Rivals Ignite Grand Finals, and this is not the Grand Final, Shiv. We're still 4 matches away from that, but this is $1 million tournament, right? If you have friends hanging around this venue, make sure to tell them to stop by. Same thing for Twitch, right? If you're on Twitch or YouTube or anywhere else watching on the stream, come on by, because you want to see this man. Terra is a star.
Wow, are you kidding me? 60 KOs there, 35 finals. Are you joking me?
I mean, listen, I'm trying not to be biased. We don't have American Man here, all right? But
of course.
Right now, this is genuinely, when we watched our games in North America, this is the last team that you can never count out, because they always sort of, they get better when they're angry, right?
Yeah.
This is a team that whenever they're down, they sort of trigger that competitive spirit, and that maybe comes back from the background that Terra has in hockey and some of these other guys in sports generally. I mean, I know that they can sort of come back from these mental situations when you're more angry, you're more in the mode, I guess, for competition, because in esports, right, it's a mental game. You're utilizing your arm, in this case, your thumbs if you're TTK, but, you know, you have to utilize that brain. You have to sort of trigger that sort of fight or flight game mode, and it's hard to do that when you're playing a game, right? You have to sort of involve yourself physically, and what better way to do that than going down 0-2 and getting pissed off at each other?
Yeah, Bruce Banner to Hulk, we like to say, buddy, and they surely showed up like the Hulk right there. Na'Vi, that insane retake was a ton of fun to watch, but 100 Thieves did it right back at them and came in hot with that Phoenix.
I want to see what they could do in this upcoming map, right? I talked to you, Shiv, in the past, right, with a couple, hours playing professional hero shooter genres. There's times when you have to yell. There's times when you have to get pissed off. You know, as a competitor, right? Yeah. When you play a ton of soccer, a ton of these sports, Shiv. I mean, what do you do when you're down in this series? How do you come back when you're down 0-2? You have to yell. You have to get some sort of emotion going for your team, right?
Yeah, I think emotion is a big piece, and also you have to believe you can do it. As soon as teams start thinking they're done, if you see them defeated on their cams, it's over.
Great point, Shiv. And taking a look back for Na'Vi versus 100 Thieves, like you mentioned, we're going to be going to another map, and that means Na'Vi right, have to kind of stop that reverse sweep, right? Stop the bleeding, stem the bleeding, because at the current moment, I mean, Na'Vi have done that before versus Chopper Mag. They almost choked a series away one time, but Chopper Mag did the same there. And Shib, taking a look back at that map 3 results, you called them out. Terra was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, 35 finals is wild to say out loud with an 8.6 KD. Again, some good finals across the board. Na'Vi maxing out at 10, though. Having virtually their entire team's finals on one line is wild to say out loud. I like the change from Harvey there, switching over to Cloak to be able to dodge that Jeff whenever it was coming in.
And I know that stat watching isn't the best thing, but if you take a look at Vinny versus in TTK versus Trust Me and Rajaro, you know, we were talking to Mega Milani about this. Damage taken is a big stat, right? But there's more to it just that. But regardless, you can see Vinny played a lot better there, had way less damage taken. Same thing with TTK on the opposite side for Trust Me. They were just feeding. I hate to be that guy, but they had 44,000 damage taken. Trust Me usually doesn't play like that, right? He was doing a ton of damage, but you talked about it earlier. What is all that damage good for if you can't even do it often?
Yeah, I think Phoenix was a good answer there to that overhealth. As we look over to our next map shortly, it's going to be Hall of Dajalia Convergence.
Hall of Dajalia is a great map, too, for both of these squads, right? For 100 Thieves, they're going to try to have to deal with Na'Vi on this map type. A huge shout out to you, those of you still in attendance this late at night, especially in Atlanta DreamHack. So it's a pleasure having you all here. This is the last match of the day, but the grand finals is still coming up tomorrow, Shib, and we still have 3 games tomorrow, too. I can't believe we get to watch so much Marvel Rivals in person. But this is going to be an interesting map, I think, for 100 Thieves. We really get to see a lot out of this squad. Are they going to result on, are they going to sort of fall back on Namor, Hella? There's so many questions, I think, out of this squad.
Yeah, I think the switch there again from Phoenix was the answer they were looking for from all this overhealth of that front line of the Venom, for example. We'll see Na'Vi remove that Jeff and 100 Thieves remove the Mantis, which is, again, not a major surprise, but we will have the ability to see 100 Thieves lock in the Mantis here.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's a good, I think, ploy from Trust Me in this crew out of Na'Vi. It makes a lot of sense because of the fact that, you know, you want to try to mix it up. You don't want to just play the same stuff every time. We know how good Mantis is, but we also know how good Jeff is, right? Jeff is so strong. We know how those ultimates can connect and land flush a lot of the times. You really have to counter it sometimes with Emma, like we saw to TTK. I think TTK had a good read on Fate, and that's why they want to stick with this Emma matchup on their side, make sure it's unmatched on this next map. So they're reading what Na'Vi are putting down and trying to counter with their own picks and bans.
But Jerky will have access to that Psylocke, and we've seen what that means for the backline of 100 Thieves. It means running consistently for your lives right there, and goodbye to the Mantis there from Na'Vi.
We're heading to that protect and ban phase once again. This is the last one out of both teams, right? So 100 Thieves with their protect. We'll see what they want to go for. It's going to be a hard choice, right? Do they want to go for that Bucky again because it's available so far? This time it's the Captain America. They need to set up Vinny. I think it's the right choice because we already know Vinny is a good player and he can flex, but Captain America is definitely a comfort pick for him, as you can see, and they also banned the Venom on the opposite side, so, you know, it makes a lot of sense to go for that Cap, knowing that they probably want to ban another dive tank.
Yeah, and the odds of the group being banned out are so low, where Cap is just far more prevalent in this specific meta. I will say group does a great job into the triple strap backline, but these have been more consistent comps and locking in the Venom there from Na'Vi.
Yeah, they want to set up Trust Me on Venom, right? This is a matter of, can 100 Thieves repeat what they did last map, right? They get that Phoenix open, they have the Bucky open, they also can't play the Starlord or Terra. We've seen play that previously because of how good it can be with things, you know, like that, like the Rocket, because it's not banned. And, you know, there's a lot of things that I think 100 Thieves have to think about. Same thing for Team Na'Vi. So they're mixing it up, trying to throw out that Jeff ban first, but they still resulted in doing a very similar ban phase that they did earlier. Leaving Delena still on Psylocke is interesting for 100 Thieves. On their angle, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with Jerky on Psylocke 2.
And we will begin shortly, folks. Hall of Dajalia Convergence. Na'Vi needs one more to take this home. 100 Thieves needs to go back-to-back here to counteract and potentially move forward heading towards those finals.
Taking a look at the player cams today, you can see all of these guys. I think Trust Me pointed it out and called it out well. Better than I ever could when he walked out. He said every team here is scrimming and practicing countless hours, more than you could even realize as an audience member. How many hours they put into this game, how many sleepless nights they have because of a lost scrim, because of a terrible scrim block and a terrible day. And they come back, they have the mental fortitude to come back in this game like a lot of us do in life, Shib. So 100 Thieves, can they do it? Can they come back against Na'Vi, or can Na'Vi strengthen their fortitude and hold on this map?
We've seen performances from Na'Vi on this map before, and 100 Thieves looking to try to hold them .1. As we begin now, compositions will be on the screen. Trust me on that Venom. We've seen this team in the past use the rocket jump to take the right side height together. We'll see if 100 Thieves have done their homework. It looks like everybody is going to do that once more with that rocket jump. This is their consistent strategy. A push here from something like Invis could be huge, but no, the team has not caught them on this high side.
Waiting it out, Naga presses out the side of Vinny for now. Trust me on the flank, matched by Terra, who was incredible last series. Meanwhile, he backs off for now. Trust me ready to go for that in the back line, but they're setting up their angles. If Trust me's countered on this Vanguard roll, we'll see if it happens, but Terra still has to deal with a huge chunk of HP.
Fight begins once more. The whole team dropping back as Jerky is going to find Harvey early on, and that is a huge pick onto a strategist, a mainline strategist that will keep your team healthy. TTK in a dangerous spot, likely going to go down. Nice movement there to stay up. As Delena now in a dangerous spot. Jerky, what a shot there. And that was another clean sweep.
This is the problem. You're going to get this mismatch Psylocke in terms of the duel. Trust me, takes down Millennia too. And on that height with the Luna Snow, they were able to take an incredible off angle there, Shiv, with Naga and Crook. Crook sets up behind his Phoenix, just kind of pounces through in terms of whenever he gets damage from Terra, able to heal him up. So Naga now ahead in that Ensong Inferno play. Also, Jerky able to set up so many consistent dives with his Venom player.
Yeah, don't give Jerky Psylocke from what I'm seeing. It is wild. Great tracking there as Rajaro now owning this space, trying to break down a little bit of this building to open up an LOS here, dropping back towards the team now to move this cart forward in the streets phase of this map. There comes that dance, and Harvey's very low, Millennia the same, and they both will go down. Jerky says, I'm not done yet. They get a three-piece as level 1 Crook drops Terra.
Jerky's just that guy, like you said. They try to dance with the butterflies. Is it fruitful? They find Crook and Fate. Is it enough? No, Naga shuts it down. The dance of the butterflies sent down. That butterfly had about as short of a lifespan as a real one, Chip.
The retake will begin now again. Millennia holding on to a different dance floor as Terra has that Ensong Inferno. That has been a good answer to some of these big ults, but Rajaro is now on that Magneto instead of the Cap, so that overhealth will not be as impactful. Trust me's engagement. There comes that combination, looking for the 1-2 punch.
Can't boost anymore.
Bang, it is gonna find them very low, and that would be an early pick onto a clone. Well done by Delena to hide in plain sight.
And then he ducked around the corner to at least dodge to see you later, but here comes Naga in the top with the Ensong Inferno, shuts down Millennia too.
Numbers now up for Na'Vi, already heading into .2, and this looks like the team we've seen from map 1 and 2 as 100 Thieves are playing on their heels, dropping backwards now. Out goes that invisible boundary from Harvey. The walk down here from Vinny now is going to deal some damage, but not be enough to counteract some of these strat line ultimates.
Playing it slow, Terra with that slow play, able to find Jerky on the high, just sort of taking this sort of off angle in the third person perspective, but Jerky brought back by the BRB. Huge job by that rocket to put down a good BRB. Eventually Terra Trust Me falls to Terra, and meanwhile Delena on the opposite angle doing well. The bubble forced, but Trust Me's gone.
Put a bubble there by Rajaro, but Delena is going to find Naga and still walk now. Again, looking towards those strat line to find a stagger. Does have that dance of the Cutterfly ready to just be detrimental to that team, and there it goes. And it might find 3, and it does with the help of TTK and Harvey.
You know what, Shiv? This reminds me of a good man we had on the desk earlier. I was talking behind the scenes about this. XQC, right? My old team, when I played professional hero shooters, had this strat called delete XQC. And it works every time. All you got to do is wait for XQC to go in and feed, and you happen to KO him, take him out of the fight, you win the future one. That's what's happening to Na'Vi right now. Trust me, keeps going in early, keep going down to 100 Thieves who are countering him a lot like XQC got countered by Team Kangarna.
And they are going to start another fight now, waiting for that engagement from Trust Me, who's very close to ultimate. Jerky is going to start up here with that dance of the butterfly. Vinny going to counter quickly with that freedom charge. And there is TTK with the Psionic. Finds one walking. Do I see 2? I do on a level 1 Crook, who's now low and goes down. Good commitment there by TTK and Vinny, who are still looking to find more. Terra onto Rajaro. Terra again onto Jerky, and Fate jumps off the reset.
Terra's so good, man. I mean, what else could you say, Shiv? I mean, he and the rest of the squad playing it so well. The pocket for him as well. Terra, that guy, we'll see if 2 minutes left to go can result in Jerky popping off a little bit more. He's the person that needs to bring Na'Vi back into it alongside the dives of Trust Me.
And there will be that damage boosted Ensong Inferno opportunity here from Terra and Millennia, where you'll see level 1 Crook and Trust Me have the same opportunity with Venom and the Feast of the Abyss, both of which can be very scary to a back line or anybody. 275 HP and below. Naga is going to keep that pressure now, and what a stun there on a Millennia right before he can press the Q button. What a play.
Yeah, huge pick by Naga as well. Trust me, setting that up. I mean, the damage output by him. Now Naga has the height to do whatever he wants.
Jerky takes out Harvey, TTK onto Rajaro. Fade bringing Rajaro right back. That trade did not work out in their favor. Jerky now on a Terra, and that could be enough here for them to take this point, and the dance floor comes through.
The dance floor comes through, but it might be too late. I mean, the Meteor M's about to slam down on the Millennia. No, it comes back to the card.
Wow.
But it might be too little too late regardless for 100 Thieves because of Na'Vi setting up in the oval mega height almost.
Really good movement there by Millennia to come back and keep the team healthy once more. Harvey is going to be in trouble, and same with Millennia again. Jerky is looking so good. Rajaro is going to find Vinny, and TTK goes down to Jerky, who is playing once again lights out on this hero.
100 Thieves have been doing a better job this man at keeping Vinny alive, but Na'Vi, understanding that read, want to set up Naga on that height, able to find the pickoffs onto the back line. Everybody's being focused on Vinny, but Harvey, he goes down in the middle of his ultimate, uses his invisible boundary, gets picked off by Naga. This guy's coming online, Naga as well, the guy we talked about on Na'Vi, who also can match Terra, but he has to right now.
Now it's point 3 with 2 minutes on here, folks. TTK starts with the Psionic, looks towards level 1 Crook, who will not be walking now, looking to try to make that happen at the very end. Still didn't work out. Vinny takes out Jerky, and that's a number in their advantage as Elena finds 1. TTK makes that 3, but the res comes through from Naga. Vinny onto Crook as well. 100 Thieves with a retake, and they're still holding on to that freedom charge.
And listen, if you're a scrub that can't aim like a lot of people in this game, you have that Psylocke bikini skin because it was so amazing in our shop, but you haven't been able to play Psylocke. Now in the recent buffs, she does a lot more damage per swing in that Dance of the Butterfly, so you don't have to aim anymore, Shiv. You do as much damage as Jerky, or as Delena did in the previous fight.
Yeah, that ultimate, instead of 8 swings, roughly 9 in terms of damage, but more bursty as it's in the same exact 8 swings, just in terms of raw damage. That is the number. Trust me, comes in with a huge Feast of the Abyss. Down goes Millennia. TTK with a follow-up. Jerky and Naga are going to follow up onto Harvey and Terra. And wow, what a combination off of Trust Me.
Might have retold a story about XQC, but I'm so sorry, trust me, I didn't mean to compare you to that guy because you are one of the best players on Venom. We've seen at mid-season that he is the GOAT of this game so far. He not only brings the brains to this squad of Na'Vi, but the mechanical skill. 40 seconds left to go, Shiv. 100 Thieves, they're gonna have to stop right now, but Na'Vi has a combo.
And out goes another dance. Jerky takes out Millennia and Harvey. This combination has been so consistent. They cannot stop falling to Jerky. Terra finds 1, but it won't be for long as that's turned right back at him. Delena does have 1 ult to come back heavy. Millennia with the dance floor and Harvey as well. But again, you've got meters on the location here. There comes Vinny now. He's going to start up. Does have 25% to ult, so they're just going to try to hold for 9 seconds and hopefully win this OT.
And Naga on the left side has to deal with his backline. He's doing so far. I mean, with the time against the wall, or time running out rather, Meteor hat from Rajaro has to land flush on a Millennium.
Wow, what a combo
from a Naga. What a shot.
Use that to burn shields as Rajaro is just cleaning up here in the neutral after ultimate. And that is going to be everyone on 100 Thieves. And Na'Vi are going to keep this pressure on the point. Stalling for as long as possible. TTK goes down, and that should do it. Na'Vi, 3.
Huge closeout from Team Na'Vi. I mean, they took the entire time bank, but that doesn't matter when you close out the entire map. We've seen it done before where teams will just cap out in overtime. We've seen specifically on Convergence that it can happen, right? You don't have enough time in the bank a lot of the times to make things work long term. Trust me, sure, we went down to the streets phase 2 or 3 times, but it didn't matter because eventually they came together around Naga, found their pace of play, stopped kind of going in. 100 Thieves don't have anything to really match that. Maybe they can set that up on the offense versus Na'Vi. But Na'Vi on defense, we've seen them before. They really do a good job at shutting out 100 Thieves whenever they want to sort of take any angle shift.
Yeah, 100 Thieves got to clutch up. You've seen it time in time again in ladder, but it's a very different story here at this level of play. Na'Vi seemingly coming back from a potential ban loss, or how it looked there on Clintar, but yeah, they're looking so good again. 17 finals, 10 for Naga. His team is just playing like their map 1 and 2 selves.
Na'Vi right now are one of the kings of this game. There's a reason they're here at LAN and in America, right? These guys traveled across the globe from different parts of Europe, right, Shib? And now they are here against the 100 Thieves and want to crush the hopes and dreams of the American fans in attendance today. And for Na'Vi, they've done it before in China. Can they do it again here in Atlanta?
All you need to do is capture the mission
Here
area.
comes the initial fight, trust me, just scouting, essentially telling the team what they are going to be running and ready to stop them. Back line, it's actually going to elect to drop back towards the team and protect for the moment. Rajaro going to break down some of these structures to open up the LOS, and everybody else coming right down main. Side guy live, they're going to take the height. So we see Delena just poking from main.
And Na'Vi setting up right now for 100 Thieves. Where Terra is on that back left angle. Vinny trying to control this top right, but he's getting poked out so much. Also, doesn't have that idol. Seeing that, dropping down. Vinny has to play around the health pack super well, has to live, and does so. He's gotten 3 health packs in a row. How did he do it? Still goes down.
And Jerky is going to be able to clean that up from Vinny, and the team is already owning this space as the point is starting to move forward. TTK trying to get there, but no, Naga is going to find Delena and put them up 2 numbers until that spawn comes through. Jerky just walking down now and pressing them backwards. They are going to have to retake as a unit, and that is exactly what they'll do.
Yeah, the idol probably on Terra, or sorry, on Delena. Meanwhile, for Na'Vi, able to sustain for longer. We know how good Venom could be in the hands of Trust Me. Never went down. Same thing for opposite side for Vinny, though. His struggles have been on these dive vanguards. In that case, it was pointed out by the side of Na'Vi.
Stalling now as the next fight comes through. TTK again up in the front line space, but the back line is where the issue is, as the dance of the Cutterfly is going to find one from Delena, and Jerky takes out Millennia, as Fate brings back level 1 Crook. Delena now onto Rajaro, Terra onto Trust Me, and again, coming in hot here with the Unsung Inferno. That one does not find value from Terra. Level 1 Crook with the dance floor. Naga available, goes up into the sky, will come down heavy, and boom, here it comes, and very low, but able to escape there is Delena.
Yeah, it's about having less weaknesses right now. Naga falls to Delena. We talked about how duelist players, whenever they're playing Rocket Raccoon, can struggle sometimes. You saw that they had the dance floor towards point, but instead of driving towards his own dance floor, doesn't live. And with this, I mean, you have the portal plays, Meteor on the backside. Maybe if you can group at 6, you can come back in, but it's going to be rough.
Delena now onto Naga. Rajaro goes down. Delena with a 2-piece here in this neutral. Terra onto Jerky from the portal play, and it looks like they will get point 1 now with 4 minutes and 15 on.
Swapping Fate over to the Rocket Raccoon and also Naga back over to the Phoenix. It's hard because, like we were mentioning in the previous fight, how they lost that Shib is they could have just dove back into the dance floor, stay alive, but instead he dashes up towards the air. Now he's going back over to Phoenix, a little bit more comfortable of a role. 100 Thieves still playing that 2-2-2 style. In the meanwhile, we have Invisible Boundary ready to go, feed him charge for the side of 100 Thieves, but Na'Vi, they've got nothing but an incredible strong neutral.
Jerky building towards that dance of the butterfly. It'll be the first ultimate, but likely will be countered by that invisible boundary. Delena holding on to that ult as well as engaging directly onto the back line, able to find 1 and 2, looking a lot like what we saw here from Jerky, but 1 res comes through. Rajaro goes down. Delena looking very strong now on this side lock as another falls. Do I see one more? Delena with a penta! What a monster!
What a monster indeed, Shib. Delena is just turning into Timothy Johnson before our very eyes. And we saw Delena pop off on Sidelight before, but not to this level, like you mentioned, Shib. Beautiful plays out of him.
3 minutes and 13 now. All still barely there for Na'Vi. We will see the Sia soon as Jerky is holding on to that dance of the butterfly. Terra has the Unsung Inferno. Answer still available for Vinny, Millennia, and Harvey. We have this compositional switch, and Rajaro almost with a nice pick there in the neutral. Naga finds one onto the Lena, and that's a huge pick there as Terra commits the end song with no avail. And now another dance floor comes through. Excuse me, the dance of the butterfly. That one not able to get much. What good movement from Harvey there to avoid the Meteor M.
But they're still living right at the current moment. Jerky does go down to TDK, who has been sort of quiet this map. Now they come back in. You do have the Eternal Bond to sustain. Meteor M comes in from the height of TDK.
Wow, what a throw there on a Naga. Still owning this space with a few meters left to get point 2. Fate gonna bring back Naga, and that's had so much value here, that BRB. Terra, though, is able to find Trust Me. Vinny just pressuring this backline, not allowing them to look forward. One goes down. Level 1 Crook as Naga gets 1. TTK onto Rajaro. Delena onto Naga. And they are trading for days, but this will go 100 Thieves' way. What a touch there by Trust Me.
This is such a fun series. I mean, we see Vinny getting better as Cap as the series goes on, and then Naga sort of stepping it up too. This is them, 100 Thieves that is, sort of figuring out the squad of Na'Vi, downloading them, but it took a long time. We're at 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in this third phase. In order for them to have a chance, Shib, they need to full Cap, because if they do, we will be entering yet another attacking phase for both squads.
As casters, you and I would love to see an OT as we start up here with 3 minutes and 4 seconds available. Similar timeline to what we saw from Na'Vi. We're almost at 4, if I remember correctly. Jerky is very low, but able to escape there as Delena tries to chase down, and here comes that dance on the back line again, but is not going to find much as the stacking comes through. Terra is able to find Jerky, though, as I guess I lied to you. Up in the sky goes Terra, looking to come down on a Fade, who does try to avoid it, and the whole team is able to stay inside this invisible boundary.
Yeah, right now, they have to keep Naga alive. They do toss the Strangling Prison out, but it was blocked by the invisible boundary. Terra finds Naga, too, with this Eternal Bond. They live, though, Na'Vi on the opposite side, but they're still missing one. Freedom Charge keeps 100 Thieves safe. They'll have the shred disadvantage with their own Eternal Bond in the sky. Rajaro goes to the Meteor M, Dance the Butterflies, comes out. Can they find anybody? It's Vinny and Terra on the opposite side. Rajaro's missing his back line, and with that, Jerky takes down Harvey, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for Na'Vi.
Wow, what a pick there again. TTK on a Trust Me. Vinny now on a Rajaro. This will be a point. 4.3, a battle for point 3, excuse me, and alts are not here, as Naga is the closest on the side of Na'Vi. As you see, Harvey and Terra are available with Delena. This is a fight very much in their favor.
Naga setting up, does have his ult ready to go. Ansong Inferno against the 100 Thieves with basically everything. Shit, we've seen TTK be a hero with that Meteor M, and Delena too with the Dance of Butterflies. Knowing once week goes in with it. Can they find one? They find Fate. The dive is there. And can they find any more? Fate with you while he's gone was missing an Eternal Bond anyway. Terra though finds Rajaro. Trust Me. Can they find any more? They do so. 3 are gone. Well, Thieves cap out with 1:30 minutes on the clock.
More time for 100 Thieves here, as we'll see Na'Vi only with a minute in overtime compared to that 2:28 from 100 Thieves. This is exactly what you see sometimes in ladder, folks, where you say, hey, we push right through, and then it happens right back at you. 100 Thieves back against the wall, but they never give up. And we will see if Na'Vi can clutch up right now, or if 100 Thieves can keep this series rolling.
Yeah, this crowd knows, anybody watching this game knows that you are in for an incredible series when you see 100 Thieves versus Na'Vi, because both of these teams put up absolute stellar matchup, Shib. Some of the best matchups in history that we've seen in Marble Esports. In this young esports history, it's usually these two teams, right? Like, every time.
Yeah, some of these matches have felt like a grand final in and of themselves. I mean, I'm getting so hyped just watching this. Teams are just trying to download each other and find solutions. And I will say, if you look at the scoreboard here, Delena and Jerky both with 20. Delena with a little more damage showing up here saying, I can definitely play Psylocke. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Now, we'll say this is boding well, I think, for Team 100 Thieves, and I know that they really prioritized keeping Vinny alive in that previous game. Delena also was able to pop off, and that's what you want to see if you're a 100 Thieves fan. For Na'Vi, I feel like still a lot went their way. The only negative is that Jerky was still going down, and we talked about how good he was at not going down, not being a casualty earlier. This time, he's being hard focused by 100 Thieves.
I just think the solution we've seen from 100 Thieves here is that Phoenix, having that stun available and the Ansong Inferno to burn some of that over health you might see from something like Venom, especially after Feast of the Abyss, or even using that E cooldown. So seemingly really working for them, although they struggled on defense. We'll see if they can pop off here. Again, this awesome attack style here from Na'Vi on the top right side. It's been a little bit tricky for the side of 100 Thieves to handle.
TTK taking a lot of poke, but he's fine with it. They're building up the Stratus ultimates regardless. Naga knowing that, looking back for Vinny. He's the real target that 100 Thieves are going to be painted on their backs, right? It's Na'Vi looking for him.
Jerky just looking to farm ultimate off the front line. Terra very low with a nice shot there from Jerky, but not able to make that work. Still owning this height and just waiting for these strategists to be vulnerable.
And these comps are sort of hit squads. Jerky is one of them. Finds Harvey. Terra does trade back Rajaro. Is it enough, though? It might be. Rajaro comes back, but they bought 2 lives. Delena and TTK take them down. Jerky falls, but Crook trades it back onto Delena.
Touch comes through, and that's another pick by level 1 Crook, and they are up again in numbers as Vinny drops backward towards the team. The portal play coming in here from Millennia, and that's going to put them down a strategist until a switch comes through.
But it takes been given. Na'Vi are building the point up. They're able to take down Terra too. What a pick off from Naga. Can they find any more? They're going to be missing one of their star players on 100 Thieves side. Na'Vi have set themselves up for success, as they have done in the past. Ensong Inferno is being built up. Millennia, the strategist you talked about earlier, is dove upon and sent back to a spawn. Meteor Rev has been done in panic. I don't think it's going to find anything because the bubble was there from Rajaro, and the team is playing around this point, have built up 2 ticks. They find the portal cooldown is run out, and Na'Vi are about to cap this first point.
About as clutch as you can be, Na'Vi are going to be able to take point 1 and start the cart moving. There's going to be some answers here from Na'Vi too, who did not overcommit in that fight, and that is exactly what they needed to do. But again, 100 Thieves will have a similar amount of ultimates in this next fight.
You're right, those ultimates are going to be massively impactful as Na'Vi. They will have that BRB advantage over 100 Thieves because of that ban phase, or because they have the rocket uncontested, rather. The dive comes in for, Trust Me sets up on the high ground as he's pushed away. Cooldown's out. They want to dive on him again, but this time he knows that he's the target focus and turns it back onto the Lena. Jerky's here also to help peel. Can they find anything else in this overtime? They can full cap. The Storm's also been used. Rajaro has Meteor M.
Oh, but what a fade there from Harvey, who is going to ult in. Terra is going to get bursted out of the sky in that Ensong Inferno. Everybody pressing the Q button now. Vinny and Delena holding on until this ends. Fate does have that Sia, which can be very impactful, especially with potentially Jerky here, and there comes that combo potentially. Out goes an invisible boundary. Delena is going to find 1. Jerky onto Millennia, and 2 onto Harvey. Level 1 Crook now onto Delena. And wow, Na'Vi said it's definitely going to keep this thing walking here as Terra, no, and Vinny now find 2, but trust me, onto Terra.
And they use the Freedom Charge too because, I mean, the rocket advantage has been so big, Shiv. I mean, every fight we've seen a res come through from that BRB to bring them back, whether it's Rajaro, whether it's Trust Me, whether it's Jerky, doesn't matter because the Rocket Raccoon advantage is giving them a person advantage every single fight. So huge plays by Fate. He's been phenomenal on the Rocket Raccoon. On 100 Thieves side, they have ultimates against Naga with the Ensong Inferno, and he's been a huge player so far throughout this tournament. We'll see if he can close it out in the second phase for his team.
This is an absolutely massive overtime push here from Na'Vi, where again, just such a strong story. Team here, what a freeze as Harvey goes down now. Oh my goodness, Naga and Rajaro finding 2 more. Jerky onto TTK. The momentum is too much here as Vinny and Delena are trying to find the back line, and they do what a freeze, but it is going to give them enough to get point 2.
Somebody, Crook's got it. Whatever Crook is getting paid, it's not enough. This backline, Shiv, is amazing. Na'Vi's backline, some of the best in the game. Sure, they went down, but regardless, the hero plays, the freezes, the backline peel from Fate and Crook. This backline is contested, or probably uncontested, as the backline in the entire world, best backline in the entire world, Shiv.
Yeah, I mentioned that a bit before, how they just seem to not fall ever, and they are still keeping that up, looking so good. No matter what, and whenever they go down, they are forced to commit, and there's that pick of that BRB that is necessary. Naga, though, with an early pick on a Terra, is always seeming to do that. Jerky, too, and oh my goodness, 3 go down once more. Are they going to push this the whole way?
They might, Shiv. They might. I mean, this is one of the most impressive things I've seen out of a team with no time in the bank. I thought it could happen earlier, right? We could see a draw happen sometimes in other maps, but it's never the case when Na'Vi pushes this far. We rarely see a team with no time in the bank almost fully cap out.
Folks, they've been in OT for over 3.5 minutes. Jerky, and trust me, Naga, oh my goodness, come on now. Looking so good as Vinny goes down. They are just on this train, and they pushed it the entire way.
Folks, that is so impressive, like you said, Chip. 3 minutes is how long that fight was. You can see the crowd is sweating. We're sweating up here too, guys. Don't worry. Na'Vi is making this room feel as heated as ever because they full cap the map with no time, and you can see Jerky hands up. He's like, guys, that might have been the best round that any pro team has played, and you have to wonder, Chip, what does that mean for 100 Thieves mental? That just happened to them. They got full capped on with a minute in the bank for the other squad.
Yeah, just to be completely honest, the odds of this happening back are incredibly low. That was just an absolutely dominant performance by a team that absolutely deserves it. Our mid-season Worlds champions pushing with over 4 minutes of overtime, only having a minute on to start.
Did you say 4 minutes?
I said 4 minutes.
Oh my God. I'm gonna pass out. That's crazy. By the way, both squads have, like you mentioned, deserve to be here. We know for 100 Thieves, this team gets better when everybody counts them out, right? If they were to do it, I mean, that would be the most unbelievable thing, like you mentioned, Chib. They had more time in the bank when they capped out than Na'Vi. That means they have 2 minutes, like you said, when we swap sides. But at the moment, that doesn't really matter because the other squad just full capped you with none in the bank. 100 Thieves, I don't want to count them out just yet, but can they overcome everything that they've overcome so far? Can they get over Terra being really having a tough tournament in terms of just being sick, in terms of his physical health? And he's been able to sort of overcome those challenges, but they're going to have to do it right here and now because if they don't, they are out of the tournament.
A tough task and a tough ask here for 100 Thieves. Can they do it, or will Na'Vi move forward and make the dreams of becoming a two-time back-to-back champion a reality?
And that gets sort of legacy talks, but we'll have that later as this is just a setup for tomorrow. At the moment, 100 Thieves walk in through main side and they lose Millennia. That could be an absolute nail in the coffin for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, the retake must come through here as TTK now goes down as well. Terra trying to find one, but Rajaro instead is going to be the one to find that pick onto Vinny. The whole team, again, starting over once more. 1 minute and 40 on. Remember, folks, Na'Vi started with 1 minute. There's still a minute 35 on here.
They've done it versus Chopper Mag before, stopping the future hopes and dreams of those players. I mean, there's still a future, obviously, with being an unsigned team, but 100 Thieves are not unsigned. This is a professional squad who's getting paid to do this by Nadeshot. One of the guys who tries to claim his org is not a hoodie org. If it's not, they need to win it here, and they cannot versus Na'Vi, who have shut down Delena once again.
Naga with another early pick, and I can't stress this enough. These duelists finding these neutral picks before every fight is just everything you can ask for in terms of duelists. Again, a minute now. This is exactly the position Na'Vi was in. But I can't lie to you, 100 Thieves not looking like what we saw from Na'Vi on their attack. A team that is very strong, but potentially crumbling a little bit in the comms as we start once more.
Championship pedigree is what TTK might have on his mind after taking down Jerky, the new addition to Na'Vi, but the BRB advantage brings him back.
Yeah, there has been so much value in these BRBs. I cannot stress it enough. Here comes the combo wombo here by TTK and Terra. Can they find anything? No, they do not. And there is a triple combo here from Fate, Naga, and level 1 Crook, who committed as well. And the Meteor M goes down, but it is blocked there by TTK. 23 seconds and counting. But you do see Jerky here. He's ready to ult up on the backline. And here it goes. Invisible boundary out. The team dropping in there together. Still able to find one on the side of Harvey. And they are down a number. Vinny does have ult available, and that's the only ult that will be able to be used until Delena gets his, and Delena and Terra find two as they are on point now. TTK able to get that touch into OT, but you got to stay on the point, and they will as OT starts ticking down. The portal blade coming in here shortly from Trust Me.
Yeah, I mean, overtime spawns, you may not even want to go for it because Crook has that spawn. As long as you group as a six stack, you can go for really fine. You can scare them at the bast. You touch on Jerky's side, but you lose him. Portal comes out through regardless. They have to touch that card towards back side. Jerky gets brought back by the BRB on the opposite side of the portal. They want to group back up and go for another fight.
Delena still holding on here to the Goddess of Death. No ults quite available for Na'Vi again. Their team is going to elect to try to get a group ultimate, a 6-piece if need be, and just commit together for the win. 100 Thieves got to clutch up more than ever.
The cart, Shib. The cart is going to be the #1 thing. Can they stay on it? Can Na'Vi get the flip on the opposite side and back cap them because overtime ticks down slowly, even though 100 Thieves is on it. They've swapped to a composition that plays to their strengths, but it might be too little too late as Na'Vi, the former champs, like you mentioned, the reigning champs, are trying to close them out.
And the fight begins, folks. Naga is owning the height. Terra in a dangerous spot, but some good damage there and almost some good focus. This BRB has been invaluable up in the sky now with the Goddess of Death. Looking backwards, does find one. Vinny on a level 1 Crook. Will this proceed forward? Another pick there as the rest come through on a level 1 Crook in Terra. Dealing some damage, holding that Ensong Inferno. Delena in a dangerous spot, but they're somehow able to get the pick on Trust Me. Oh my goodness, folks. So far, heading towards point 2, these teams are so evenly matched.
No way, Jerky gets stunned out. He does have the support, but can he stay alive? No, gets pulled in, but he's still alive. The healing is there. Still eventually falls, but what a pull from Millennia.
And point 2 has been capped, folks. This is a match for the history books now, as it is 5-6 this deep in our grand finals tournament.
And every ult is available, guys. If you want to see ults just galore, you're going to have to watch the upcoming fight. Usually it's towards the last few, but the combos have been big in this series. There's the dive already from Trust Me. Falls back, overtime ticks down. They have to stay on it. Jerky comes with an instant butterflies. Invisible boundaries there, but Harvey's dead. He had ult too.
Yeah, 98% from there from Harvey. Has to get back to this point quickly. Ansong Inferno coming through with the damage boost from TTK. Tries to find one, not able to do so. Terra is able to take out Fate though, and that BRB will now be gone. Trust me, on the Millennia, Vinny is going to be looking for level 1 Crook. Does have that ult out and is gone now with a 2-piece out of Majaro and keeping the dream alive. Terra on a Jerky. Delena goes down to Trust Me. Naga on to TTK though, and again, they are now looking good, but still on the point.
Chip. That was a sort of dry fight from Na'Vi, but not really. In this upcoming fight, they will have the advantage. Na'Vi side, Media Ram, and the See You Later. Harvey has to live. They don't have bubbles for him, shit, but they're going to have TDK shield. The portal coming through from TDK this time. He has to be the hero. He has to block Rojaro with that Media Ram.
Here comes the portal in now from TTK to break LOS. They're trying to find an early pick here onto the Sia. The combination comes through as Harvey now is trying to escape, but does get picked. That is massive. Jerky onto Millennia. The numbers are falling. Na'Vi clutching up with that Sia will end this and win.
Final score, 5-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was just the losers semifinals. We still have 3 more games for you guys tomorrow, so don't worry if you're in the crowd. We will be right here in Atlanta, Georgia, and so will Na'Vi, 100 Thieves. It's a shame they're going home, but Na'Vi are them. I mean, they won the midseason, now here at the grand finals, and look unbeatable.
Yeah, they just did exactly what they needed to. I will say, though, that was a closer match than it should have been. Jerky with 32, looking very good. But yeah, I mean, everybody just committing ultimates a little bit too early in some of those fights. 100 Thieves struggling on the defense. Gotta love to see the sportsmanship here, though.
Absolutely. Everybody coming through, shaking hands, nothing but respect behind the scenes. We know how hard these teams fight. You heard Trust Me say it earlier. I'm sure we'll hear him again in the interview, or Jerky, or whoever it is. It doesn't matter because these guys deserve it. Give them a round of applause. That was only one of the first matches that we're going to see in the future, and it's also a team as storied as Na'Vi is now. I mean, they won the entire thing under Rad, but Jerky coming in this roster, showing up as a star player has been massive. But everybody coming together, playing around their vanguards. We saw how good their strategists are. This team is going to be scary, and I know that we saw Flying Quest play well. We know we saw BP play incredibly strongly versus Na'Vi. I think these top 3 teams we have left are the top 3 teams. 100 Thieves in there for sure, but right now these top 3 teams are looking as good as they ever have in the history of Marvel Rivals.
I can't believe that was a 5-6. An absolute movie right there. These teams playing their hearts out and getting ever closer to that 320K prize.
And I know it's looking at level 1 Crook, obviously one of the best backlines. He might be, at least on camera, some of the best strategist plays we've seen. There's a lot of strat plays that are unnoticed. Invisible shields blocking ults, you know, strat players getting freezes in terms of on Luna Snow. You see huge fades, like you called out earlier, out of these Cloak and Dagger players on Harvey, but I mean, this backline is so good in Fate level 1 Crook. I mean, there's a reason why he was the finals MVP at the midseason, and he had an incredible performance today. Nothing but flowers for level 1 Crook. We've joked about him being the level 99 Crook, but there's nowhere else for him to go. He's level Infinity Crook at this point.
Yeah, and then you got to look over at Trust Me, who's just consistently diving onto that backline and disrupting them. We keep seeing them getting bursted with that combination of Jerky, and they could not escape consistently. They started figuring it out towards the end, but by that point, it was just too late.
I want to see what the desk has to say later on in our interview as well, coming up as Na'Vi close out 100 Thieves. And for 100 Thieves, you know, it's unfortunately lost here, but they have to hold their heads high because that was a good series for sure. And you know, they came in with a bunch of issues just physically, right? Some people going to the hospital even, right? That's crazy. But for 100 Thieves to make it this far in the tournament is big, so you have to give them their flowers there too.
Yeah, shout out to 100 Thieves putting on an absolute show for us in that final match. But Na'Vi, a team that I really don't know what the solution is for banning them out. They always have a way around it. They struggled a little bit on Symbiotic, but outside of that, just dominating.
I love how they swapped off those group comps too, back to what they're good at. Let's go to the stage though for an interview with Na'Vi.
Ladies and gentlemen, for what was the best overtime I've ever seen on the biggest stage, I'm joined by both Trust Me and Level 1 Crook here for the winners interview. And just right away, what are the emotions, fellas?
I mean, it's incredible to stand here and win, right?
Yeah, I mean, we came back again. It was really, really close, and it just shows that we want to keep fighting all the way, and we want to win this whole tournament again, if it's possible.
I mean, not only did you guys go through the craziest overtime that I've seen and witnessed, you've been going all day. It's been a marathon today. It quite literally stretched out to the limit, 3 matches. Walk me through how you make it not a sprint, but a marathon and last through the whole thing.
I mean, it's just like we play every day, right? It's not something unusual that we play like more than 12 hours a day. You know, we are hard grinders. 100 Thieves is the same, right? Everyone here on the stage plays more than 8 hours a day, trying to do their absolute best to push themselves to the limit, right? Our team, an example, we worked the hardest, we played the most, and my team deserves a world championship. If I play better than today, then we will get that.
Crook, you were an absolute demon there in the strategist line. We saw what you did at Yggdrasil and the plays that you had, the freeze on Deliner and more. I mean, how do you continue to get so much value at the strategist position there? And just walk me through your thoughts going through all of it.
Well, I mean, you always pick the best hero you can choose against the enemy comp. If they have like Storm, Groot, Luna is really nice because they can't really reach me. And then I just have to know when I can do damage and when I can't. I need to find the sweet balance in between it, and then it ends up paying off with kills as well, right? Because I'm basically more for damage in that comp, because we are diving anyway, so I can't really heal anyone, so might as well do damage.
Hey, listen, walk me through, because we're almost there at the Grand Finals. You all have to win one more to get back there, y'all. This is the mid-season champs we're looking at. Walk me through what this team and what you guys mean to each other, kind of the family behind the team that we're seeing on the field. I mean, y'all all stay together outside of one position there. It's been amazing to see. What is this team like behind the scenes?
I mean, we're all hard workers, right? We come to the scrim, everyone is there. Also our substitute Crisis, shout outs to him, he's always there, hard working, right? Even though he doesn't get the playtime that he wants, right? We really appreciate everyone in the team, everyone puts in so much work, and even offside of just practice, right? They go into ranked, right? They play every day. That's not something unusual, usually.
I forgot the question, kind of, so.
No problem, my man. Listen, lastly, I want to say you guys look at either FlyQuest or VP, right? You can get them at the rematch with VP. You go with FlyQuest. Who do you want? Who do you want to see there? Any words for them? I'll give it to Crook.
I think VP deserve the grand final spot. I also think they're going to win tomorrow against FlyQuest, and I want my match against FlyQuest again, because last time I think we messed up the draft quite badly, and I want to show them that we can beat them.
I don't think we messed up the draft. No, we definitely fell short to them. It was quite unlucky. It was 99-99 last fight. All of the teams remaining, they're all amazing, right? Even every team here competing, they're all great, right? Shout outs to Shopper Mac again, right? Even though they're like an Australian team, no one scrimmed them, and they show up to the stage and put on this performance, right? Against people that play all day, right? It's not easy to do that.
Listen, Atlanta viewers at home, give it up for Na'Vi. I'm going to give you all the one last word. Anything you want to say to everybody, Crook, then trust me.
Thank you for all the fans. Appreciate the support, and I hope you guys enjoy the tournament.
Hashtag Na'Vi Nation.
Let's go. That is your winners interview as Na'Vi find themselves one win away from returning back to the Grand Finals. Now for the Dets to break down all the craziness, all the insanity, and the best overtime we've watched yet, y'all. Let's break it down, Tesh. What you got?
Not enough time for all of that, Cozy. Break down everything? That was so much. What an insane series, guys. Let's just start off. Just take me wherever you want to go. There's just so much to cover.
Okay, I think we have to talk it, right? We've crowned Terra as the best Bucky.
Yes.
But now a challenger has entered the ring for the discussion and debate over who the best Psylocke is, because, oh my goodness, the jerky pop off. He was going into that overtime with 20 final hits, and then he walks away with 28 final hits, dealing almost 7,000 damage within 4 minutes, which when you calculate it all